think let's start. So good morning, everyone. We are kind of jumping between two modules to come to this module, just because we have a few module changes. Since EC Council is also a partner and they have a series of modules that which we want to introduce first. That's why this module changes. Nevertheless, Nishant is going to start from the basics of cloud security, so you don't have to worry about the module continuity. So let me introduce Nishant. Nishant has been with us for almost from the beginning of our programs, and I think there are people are still joining. I hope you have connected with him on LinkedIn. I just sent a message. I think he also put up a profile and portfolio. More than an instructor and consultant, we would consider Nishant as a very research-oriented professional. So that means he is a problem solver. He has been solving not just advanced cloud security modules for clients, but also on the latest technology. So if you are interested in, say, DevSecOps or blockchain related challenges, etc. Nishant has been continuously researching and developing solutions and trainings, which is great. He is part of the advisory board of EC Council. He has been designing programs. And for these programs, and because we also have another program on cloud architecture and security where one of our participants have joined here. So he's very, very integral to that program design as well. And as you are aware, this program, this module is going to be, yeah, I think Nishant, you are the right person to introduce. So I'm just giving them a broad understanding on how you can make use of Nishant's expertise. This module, just wanted to give a brief background. This module is aligned to a series of AZ courses. That means AZ 900, as I mentioned. The next module is also Nishant would continue, which will lead to AZ 500 certifications. That means end exam, your final exam would be these certifications in these modules. Plus, please check a mail which would have come from AWS Academy license on cloud fundamentals. So if you complete those by self-learning, it's a very, very simply put with self-learning modules, videos, as well as labs. Please follow that as well. Nishant would be using both Azure as well as AWS interchangeably for the labs. He would also has created a beautiful set of lab manuals which you can work on. And if somebody has already done AZ 900, please inform so that he will also share some of the advanced labs. We are not going to just follow AZ 900, so he will also share some of the advanced labs. So with that, Nishant, you are all in safe hands of Nishant and hoping that everyone would clear AZ 500 exam and 900 anyway easy that at the end of these modules. So over to you, Nishant.
Thank you, Dr. Shinu. Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you everyone for joining the session. I know weekends you guys steady. Thanks you for joining my session also.
No, they have committed. They have committed for 1 year to next year to join on Saturdays and sacrifice their Saturdays for greater good.
Definitely. I think that spirit I can see because all of them join on time. No, that is something which is important, even though it's a weekend.
Okay.
Great. So as Dr. Shinu was telling, thanks a lot for Dr. Shinu for her kind words. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I got 12+ years of experience into advisory consulting and managed services. I worked in almost all sectors: telecommunication, banking, industrial manufacturing, and IT. I'm also an AWS authorized instructor, IB Council certified trainer, PCP, CompTIA, EC Council. I am a lead auditor for 27001, 20000, and 22301. I'm a certified information security manager from Isaka. And these are some of the other credentials that I got. During this course, based on these experiences, I'll be talking a lot on cloud security specifics and try to see how we can address all the architectural issues and how do you design better architectures in the cloud. But before I jump in and discuss a lot over there, maybe let's go ahead and quickly get to know each other. That gives me a confidence on what type of examples I need to give, what type of background you guys are coming from, so that my specific examples, my labs will be tailored from your backgrounds. And obviously, if I know your expectations from the course, I'll be in a better position to deal your expectations also, so that, you know, in my concepts, when I teach, I try to see, you know, whether your expectations are meeting or not. So that's something that I always prefer to start with. But before I do that, I'm assuming that some of you are again from Reva. In case if you are from Reva, you can just tell me that you're from Reva. But however, for the participants, I'll go in the alphabetical order. This gives me easy to, you know, note down everyone's details. Can I ask Amir? In case if you're not a participant from a Reva University, that's fine, no worries. Amir, you're there?
Hello.
Yeah,
Nishant, Amir is joining only for this module, Azure.
Okay.
He's a nine. Yeah.
No, but that's fine. Absolutely fine. If he can introduce himself, so it will be good. Okay, no worries. Hi, Niranjan. Maybe a quick introduction. Balwendra Jordan, maybe you want to give an introduction.
Yeah. I'm working in Reva.
Okay,
as a
cool.
technical lead. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Chandan.
Hello, hi. How are you doing, Nishant?
Good, thank you, Chandan.
Hi, my name is Chandan. I am working in IOPEX, which is basically supporting the TAC for Palo Alto networks. I work as a senior system engineer. I work with the network security part of the Palo Alto, which is called the Strata team. And cloud experience, I had it on my previous company. Like we had a data center where we had dedicated team who was managing the cloud, and like very few implementations have dealt with them. So a little experience on cloud or Azure or AWS, you could say. But my major experience would be from the network security background, and I have total 5 years of experience. And expectations would be that clearly the security part of the infrastructure, right? Since we have been dealt with the infrastructure from few years, and the future of any network or security background engineer would be something with the cloud as well. So cloud security, cyber security would be the expectation from this course basically, which eventually will be covered on these modules is what I expect.
Great, thanks, Chandan. So OPEX Bangalore or Chennai?
Yeah, I
OPEX,
am from Bangalore. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I remember OPEX engineers because I was in Chennai CSS Corp for same
Oh,
Juniper TAC. So
yeah.
the team who used to sit beside me was Palo Alto TAC.
Okay. Got it.
So and then CSS also has a Palo Alto TAC, and then
Right. Right.
IOPEX also
Okay.
has
Right.
a Palo Alto TAC.
Yeah.
So in the break time, we used to meet other IOPEX engineers and talking about how their products are working fine
Yeah.
back then in 2014.
We have not
But
that we have not got that opportunity to meet the other engineers, but there'll be instances where we get in contact while we are receiving interactions, right? So
True.
that we get to
True.
talk, but it's not very often, it's not quite often that we talk to the people there. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think when I talk about firewalls here in the Azure, right, you will feel that, oh, this is so cakewalk because anyone who is coming from a tech engineer, right, I think he will feel this entire module as a, oh, this is so easy, man. Let me tell you that you will feel it, okay?
Yeah,
Because I'm also coming from the same background, so I
okay.
know what it looks like and what you feel.
Glad
Cool.
to.
Thank you, Chandan. Hi, Joel.
Hi Nishant, good morning.
Good morning.
So I, I'm working as a security analyst in Sony. So my job role is more of security operations and cloud monitoring. Monitoring alerts, generated from AWS or Azure. So things like, let's say, if there's a KMS to key which is scheduled to delete, and those kind of things, wherein they
Hmm.
follow the procedure and ensure the data is unencrypted before they delete the key.
Hmm.
And, yep. And so I've completed my AZ 900 in 2020, and expectations from this course. Um, I would like to, know much better in terms of security of the cloud. Yep.
Hmm. Sure, Joel. Thank you for the
Thank you.
explications. And what kind of tools you are using for log analysis?
We use Splunk as our
Okay.
SIM.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any other tools
Any
in
other
Azure?
tool? No, so all our logs come to Splunk, and then from there it's just monitoring and just pushing it out to the respective
Mm-hmm.
teams who would go forward and do it. We don't have the access to the cloud platforms.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for log analysis.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Thank you, Joel.
Hi Nishant, this is Niranjan. Sorry, at the previous
No
time I
worries.
had my speaker also.
No
My bad.
worries.
Nishant, I am currently working in Dell Technologies. My profile is into managed security services. So I work with antivirus, data
Mm-hmm.
encryption, and vulnerability assessment. Along with that, building the SOC infrastructure for SOC team. Like we work on deploying log analytics and Sentinel. So what we do is
Mm-hmm.
we are forwarding all the syslogs to the log analytics through Logstash open source application, and from
Mm.
there SOC team continues their playbooks, those things they will carry out. So we are helping as a bridge between the log analytics part.
Great. So when we say Sentinel, right? HashiCorp Sentinel or Azure Sentinel?
Azure Sentinel.
Okay. Excellent.
And like I completed my Azure 900 and SC 900 certifications, and now
Okay.
I'm preparing for SC 200 and the security related, like the rest of these security series, like 300, and
Mm.
willing to write for this AZ
Is
103.
that fan?
Like, no,
Okay.
after they are introduced the beta version, no, with the
Mm.
security architect. So I'm waiting to commit as the official one, and will prepare for that.
Excellent. Excellent. So full on preparation is going on,
Yeah.
Niranjan.
So from this course,
Nice.
my expectation is completely like if I know from uh, like now I have been working on Azure like been a past 1 year, like where when I joined they were doing some migrations and all. It's been a stuff where they have been done and been part of some small activities. But now from this course, I'm expecting like if I come to know all about the Azure cloud security, it would be easy to take up all these exams and get a good exposure with all possible hands-on.
Definitely, Niranjan. I think wherever required, I'll put up some details over there. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Nishant.
Hi, Marimutu. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Niranjan. Good morning, all. This is Marimuthu with you. I have total 18 years experience in industrial automation field, basically OT security. I have worked in various countries. Now I am in Saudi Arabia, past 4 years. And basically I'm working for industrial automation, DCS, PLC, SCADAs. Now I'm entering into the OT field also, like antivirus management and Active Directory and other things. So my expectation here entirely new to the cloud security. I want to know more about it. Thank you all.
One good thing for you is Azure is going to be very important because Azure has a partnership with some of the telecom providers to put their edge centers there. So in Saudi Arabia, it's anyway, Azure is always preferred compared to Bahrain or other things. Even in Dubai also, this is preferred, Azure Cloud. So good. Maybe sometime 2 months later from now, I'm going to come to Saudi for a trip.
Welcome. Welcome. We'll meet you.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mahamuthu. Hi, Pawan Kumar. Good morning.
Hi, Nishant. Good morning. Well, I believe most of them have covered what is the expectation, but again, I can try and rephrase what I could probably bring into the table. Well, as you called out my name, it's Pawan, and I'm currently working with Standard Chartered as a senior manager with 14 years of experience into information and cybersecurity. So, though it's kind of very broad area where currently or predominantly I'm working with on the regulatory requirements where we have to coordinate with multiple such teams where it could be an access control or SOC team or a cyber defense team in a various ways where we need to understand if the implemented controls are effective or not. And more of control testing is also been involved. When it comes to a cloud experience, though, I come across some of these terminologies in a day in, day out, but not to an extent where I've been completely working on cloud, but I can probably link to as I have completed my AZ900 certification. It's a very foundational one. Though on hands-on, I don't say I have expertise on those areas, but again, probably from this course, I should get some sort of a fair idea and also looking forward to have a better clarity in terms of if I have to talk to one of the security or cloud engineer, I should be able to help address if there is any sort of queries or probably any terminologies that comes up, and I should be in a better position to relate and answer it better. So in a way, probably there are a few other certifications which could I can probably take it up, though there are AWS and Google Cloud is also there. But again, I just wanted to understand the differences of these three platforms and see how I can probably take it up in my further certifications levels.
Understand. Got a good overview of what is expected. Thank you, Pawan.
Thanks, Nishan.
Hi, Rahul. Rahul R, maybe.
So Rahul is from. Good morning, Nishant. I'm an intern from Revam.
Okay, cool. Then Rahul Mohan.
Rahul is your friend only.
That Rahul Mohan, no? Okay. Then okay. Terlogic Rahul Mohan. Then I know.
Yes, Nishant.
Cool. Ramesh. Hi, good morning.
Hi Nishant, good morning. So I'm a senior cloud engineer from Pathaka, and I had an AWS cloud certification. I mean, associate. So I want to expand my knowledge over these solutions and securities.
Sure, definitely. Rahul. Sorry, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other expectations?
Yeah, I want looking at this Azure as well. So I'm new to Azure.
Sure. Thank you. Hi, Shreyas. Good morning.
Yeah. Hi, Nishant. Morning. Good morning, all. So, yeah, my name is Shreyas, and I'm currently working in Mango Science as a senior cloud engineer. The cloud experience, I have about 5+ years on cloud, and that is again extensively working on Azure on the infra part. So, in terms of security, so the expectations that I would have is like how well we can make use of the available services that are there on Azure to better secure the environment that I currently look after, and also this will definitely help me, go in the long run in terms of the cloud platform.
Great.
So yeah.
Thank you, Shreyas.
Thank you.
Hi, Sri Krishna.
Hey, hi Nishant. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am from HCL. I have over 18 years of experience, mostly as a product developer. So right now I'm working on a NGFW product, Cisco NGFW product.
Mm-hmm.
My experience is more from networking background.
Okay.
And regarding the experience, I have interface experience with the cloud, mostly AWS.
Okay.
So coming to my expectations, I'm more interested in architectural aspects of this cloud security. So as in, if I have to design a cloud security, what are the architectural aspects I have to consider? Mostly in terms of comparative study with the on-prem networks.
Mm-hmm.
What are the industry standard implementations and hands-on? Mostly that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, cool.
And if we can take a any attacks or something, that would be great. Sorry.
Sure. No worries. We'll try our best to provide you better experience in learning the same concepts that you're willing. And we only have 4 weeks of time. I can see these expectations will help me out in designing better labs and identifying the right resources for you guys so that your expectations are met.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you, Sri Krishna. Hi, Sudhagar.
Hi, Nishant. Hi, everyone. Sudhagar this side. So I work for EY India. I have around 3 years of experience in the identity access management domain. So in identity access management domain, I use SailPoint as a tool to develop web-based applications. And here in SailPoint, we used to connect with some few cloud-based applications. So apart from this, our servers are mostly deployed on the Azure only. So I'm completely new to this cloud security, and I'm looking forward to learn more on this one. Yeah. So by getting into this module, so I'm expecting that I will be learning a lot on the cloud security side and the cloud as well.
Definitely, Sudhagar. We will try to meet their expectations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Vasudeva.
Yeah, hi. Sorry. Good morning, Nishant. Good morning, everyone. So myself is Vasudeva Reddy, and I'm working with area analog devices. I work on the C#.NET. I got 7 years of experience on development with C#.NET. And coming to cloud experience part, I had worked on IoT projects with AWS EC2 machine. Azure experience is completely zero. So expectation part is from this course. As I got zero knowledge, I had to start from the scratch and know more on security element. That's it.
No worries. We will start from scratch, and again, when we say we will start from scratch, right? We will not talk about what is operating system and all, but yes, from a basic architectural point of view, we will talk. I think that you should be in a position to pick up. That should not be a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vasudev. Hi, Venkateshwara.
Hi, Nishant. Hello?
Yeah, Venkateshwara, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, Nishant. My name is Venkateshwara Raju. So I am working as a development manager in Ayuva Solutions India in Hyderabad. My whole experience is into software development on various technologies like C# and Java. I'm very new to these networking technologies because I'm not a computer science engineer, or I have never worked on these networks and all. I mostly concentrated on full stack development and then mostly on the desktop applications and all. So I have joined this cloud architecture and security course. I'm the only one who joined this course. So my expectation is to learn all the internals and all the different aspects of cloud architecture. And then I'm very new to the security domain as well. I have a very limited knowledge on the security because I mostly deal with application security. For example, these check marks and vulnerabilities inside the application and all, but never worked on the network security and these things. So my expectation is to learn all the different architectural details of the cloud and then try to apply in my day-to-day job.
No worries. I got the requirements. Great. Thanks a lot, everyone. I think I have covered everyone, right? Do let me know in case if I have missed out anyone or if you have joined just now. Please do feel free. Hi, Anjanelu.
Hi, sorry I joined a bit late.
No worries.
Maybe a quick introduction from my end. Yeah, Anjanelu or in short Anji. I work for Airbus as a in charge for cybersecurity and transformations team. And overall, I have around 15 years of experience. And my background is primarily into administration and infra monitoring. Before becoming into the group manager, I worked as a SOC developer. And there was some exposure to cloud. I used to manage some RDS and EC2 instances for my team earlier in my career.
Great. So when we say SOC developer, what was the specific tools or anything, any specific setup development?
Yes, I use Splunk and Splunk Enterprise Security app and Securonics. There is another analytical tool. I used both of them for use case development.
Okay, cool.
So, Nishant, I have one question.
Yeah.
Hello.
Venkateshwara. Yeah, Venkateshwara.
So, Nishant, like I have one question which I have posted to Shinu ma'am earlier. So I have joined the cloud architecture and security course, and there is a AZ 900 course after this. So does it really make sense to take AZ 900 after this course, or what is the best order to follow? That's what like I'm a little bit confused.
What I'm going to do, that I think that's what I want to break the ice. See, what I'm going to teach is not exactly like, okay, you have to learn first fundamentals of cloud. After learning the fundamentals of cloud, you need to look into different instances creation and all. So what I'm going to do is I want to break that. Rather, what I will do is I will take your experience. And on that experience only, I'll teach the lab. I will not go in the order that the portion is given in AZ500 nor even AZ900. No, I will not go in that order. That will become like some people will feel that, oh, I'm not learning anything new. But rather what I will do, I'll discuss from an architectural point of view that you have a regular network and what kind of security controls you put. And I'll give a similarity between the other, how do you do it in the cloud? So that you get a fair understanding of, oh, these are the replacements of my on-prem to the cloud. Once you get that satisfaction, it's a matter of configuration. Now that configuration, irrespective whether you learn AZ900 or AZ500, it doesn't matter. It's just that, everyone will need time to get comfortable with that window, right? So typically every screen comes up with new options. So that's where people will find it difficulty. From a concepts point of view, don't worry. See, and when you go to the AZ900 or even AZ500, AZ900 is not based on UI. AZ900 is based on the concepts. So as long as your concepts are clear, AZ900 should be easy. And anyway, this course is also going to set that fundamentals for you. Not everything, but whatever is important. Yeah, so it doesn't matter any order.
Okay,
we always prefer to take 900 first and then AZ500. But however, as during this class also, you will learn AZ900 concepts. Yeah.
Okay, Nishan.
Not from me. For example, AZ900 also covers about databases, but we will never cover end-to-end databases. Rather, we look from a database security point of view. Yeah. So I have a couple of labs. Maybe after doing the first lab, let's discuss once again to see, whether you are able to, understand that basic concepts or not, and then see if we can readjust or help you out in a different way. I'll think of that. No worries.
Hi, Nishant.
Yeah, hi. Yeah,
hi, Nishant. I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Manjunath.
Yeah, hi, Manjunath.
Yeah, I'm currently working as security consultant in IBM India Private Limited. So I have 8 years of experience in cybersecurity, predominantly working in SIM itself. So currently I'm leading in SIM engineering team in IBM. So we are working on Curator and IBM Resilient SOAR. So this is my experience, and I'm new to Azure. Yeah, anyways, we are getting this Azure Sentinel projects in which are in pipeline. So I would look forward to learn this Azure things.
Excellent, excellent. Great. Thank you, Manjunath.
Thank you, Nishant.
Thank you. So guys, so let me deal this in this way, okay? Now, whatever we are going to cover in these courses will definitely try to help you for the certification, but it's not a certification course. Let me tell you that. The reason I'll tell you. If you go to any certification course, okay, the main aim is how to clear the certification. Concepts are taught in such a way that your aim is on to clear a certification. I'm sure if you have gone to any other physical or live courses, the aim of these courses is always to get certified. But here, my aim is not to get certified, but to give as much as knowledge, as much as architectural understanding, as much as a real-time implementation. However, while I'm giving you real-time implementation and when you get working experience, you need to prepare for the certification also. Yeah, because certification is always about theory, mainly Azure certifications as of now, what I have seen, even AZ500 is a lot of theory. That means you need to know a lot of keywords. But if you say, OK, Nishant, I cleared AZ500, that doesn't mean you know how to implement. We know that. We all know that certifications doesn't mean that you know how to implement and put the things up. My focus here is going to be that making that hands-on to work rather than the theoretical part, because that is where that is more important. Anyway, you will clear the certifications with a little preparation. That should not be a problem. OK, with a little preparation, you will clear the certifications. That should not be a problem. But what the main problem is understanding the infrastructure, understanding the design and environment. That is more important. And that's where I would like to focus. So that's where many people are also facing problem. I hope it is clear.
Yes, Nishant.
Yes, Nishant.
Great. So during the course, I'll give you a couple of slides and all. I'll give you a lab documentation, so that should not be a problem. But before I begin, so during the course, I'll be segregating the concepts into two types. One is called as security of the cloud and security in the cloud. So if you talk about security in the cloud, that is where all of you will come in. When we say security of the cloud, none of you will come in, because security of the cloud is maintained by Azure. Security in the cloud is maintained by you. Your perspective is always, how do I secure resources that are there inside the cloud? And throughout the course, we are going to have a couple of hands-on sessions. I'll be using Microsoft Azure Learning Pass, which I think you already have it, and you could have already activated your Azure accounts. OK. Be sure on how much you are consuming. And if it is not required, just go ahead and turn off your servers. There is no extended period or, no overnight usage of the other components. I'll be giving necessary lab instructions on my Gitbook application, and I'll tell you in which region you have to work, and try to create all the labs in the form of a resource groups, and so that you can minimize the cost and remove the resource groups. Almost for everything, I'll give you the lab instructions, so that should not be a problem. So, but before I jump in, let me go ahead and quickly start with this matrix, so that we can break who will take what responsibility. Can I ask everyone to quickly observe this for a minute or two, and then come up with your understanding? Just a second. I'll give you quickly 2 minutes, so this should give you a fair start. I think this has given you a fair idea, right? So typically in cloud, we always talk about three different models, service models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. All these three are, before cloud, we were using it. Like traditional IT is everything, every activity, like, data center management, networking, physical servers, virtualization, operating system, databases, application management, and data management. Typically, we used to take care of everything. We means our engineers has to use to take care of everything. So, but when you go to the colocation model, then the shared responsibility started, where you have a data center, the power of the data center, electricity of the cooling of the data center, physical security of the data center, fire extinguishing security, CCTV monitoring, everything is taken care by another provider. However, we only put our networking devices, our physical devices, our virtualization, operating system, databases, application, and data is maintained by us in colocation. But when you go to the hosting providers, typically they take care of data center, networking, and physical servers. We just need to, virtualize the given physical server, install our own operating system, databases, application, and data. These are our typical traditional models. But when we come to the service models of cloud, you have infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, where in infrastructure as a service, data center, network storage, physical servers, and virtualization is already taken care. When I say virtualization, hardware virtualization is already taken care. It's a matter of creating our own operating system, spinning up your own operating system VM. And on top of that, if you would like to install database, application, and do the data management, it's left to you in infrastructure as a service. In platform as a service, virtualization layer, operating system layer, and database layer is also taken care. That means you have some database which is already created. You just click on 2 or 3 buttons, and then you have a database up and running, and you will have a database endpoint to connect. So you write your own application and deploy your application. Don't maintain the operating system or underlying configuration. And the data management is also with you. And then you have software as a service, where everything is taken care by the provider except the data management. Typically, we do our own data management, like uploading the data, downloading the data, processing the data. Where application upgrade, application downgrade, application security is not our responsibility. I hope that is clear for everyone. The fundamental model in the cloud. Now, where the security comes into the picture. Based on the type of service you choose, the kind of security will change. For example, you have taken Azure VM. You have taken an Azure VM, or you have taken an Azure EC2 instance, AWS EC2 instance. That means you install the operating system. That means after this, anything is your responsibility. Like upgrading the operating system, downgrading the operating system, patching the operating system, hardening the servers is all your responsibility. Upgrading, downgrading the database, patching the database integrated applications is our responsibility. Putting a network security in front of the database, protecting against DDoS attacks, or putting port filtering and all is your responsibility. But when you come to the PaaS, operating system patching is not your responsibility. Vendor will upgrade the operating system patches. It's a vendor responsibility to harden the servers. It is a vendor responsibility to ensure that the operating system is always secured. What is in our control is the application. So putting a web application firewall, putting a identity and access management or single sign-on integration with your application is your responsibility. But when it comes to the SaaS, everything is taken care by them. Only the data management and authentication is maintained by us. For example, if there is a bug in the Gmail, I don't fix it, right? Who fixes it? Google will fix it. If there is a bug in Office 365, who will fix it? Microsoft, not me. And it is a responsibility of the Microsoft to protect these applications against DDoS attacks or vulnerabilities or log analysis. So understand, even if you're coming from a SIM, point of view, security operations point of view, look at in infrastructure as service, you have more responsibility and more amount of logs you collect. When it comes to platform as service, the number of logs that will decrease. But when you go to software as service, you don't even need any log actually. The logging is maintained by the application provider or the service provider. So based on the type of service you choose, the responsibilities will change. Now, if you would like to have a less budget on your cloud, you have a less budget on your cloud and you want to go for go to services, SaaS makes more sense compared to a infrastructure as service. However, if your company is a very legacy company and you have a very legacy applications and you want everything to be under your control with your own systems, you can go with infrastructure as service. So one beautiful example for security engineers is in infrastructure as service, you use tools like Splunk to monitor your infrastructure. In software as a service, you don't need Splunk. No, you don't need. You don't even need any SIEM. Why? The reason is it is the provider's responsibility. Now, why will I put a Splunk? Correct. So I'm avoiding the usage of an SIEM itself. Now, when we take Splunk, your Splunk will go ahead and monitor your operating system logs, database logs, application logs. Now, what happens if I go to the PaaS? Same Splunk, it will only monitor my applications. Correct? But this is from a services that you are consuming in your organization point of view. Clear?
Yep.
Yes, Nishan.
Now,
Yes.
let's go to two parts. If this is the cloud, bad at drawing, okay? This is inside and this is outside. So mostly what happens is when we say inside, right? For example, you created a VM. Yeah, you created a service. You created a folder. A blob storage. Yeah. Now, whatever you're creating, is it an action on the cloud? Is it an action on the cloud? Now,
Yes,
in the cloud.
yes, it's an action to the cloud or in the cloud. It's an action that you have done. Now, this action can be anything. This action can be to create a VM. This action can be renaming the VM properties or renaming the hardware. This action can be a service modification. This service can be a folder creation, folder deletion. Now, when it comes to the cloud, there are two things that you need to look at. First thing is the platform. You interact with this AWS platform or Azure platform or Google platform. After interacting with this, so let's take a very simple example. You all know how to create a Google Drive folder.
Yeah.
Now, so let's ask, this is a Google Drive, okay? Let's say this is a Google Drive. Now, who can create Google Drive folder in your account? For example, if this is Nishant's account, Nishant's Gmail account, who can create a folder in Nishant's account?
Nishan.
Only Nishant. Only Nishant can create a folder, correct? Only Nishant can create a folder. So I have created a folder. I have created a folder. Now, who can upload the data into the folder?
Whoever are having access, whoever are having permission to upload.
Whoever I give permissions, like Nishant also can do it. Akhil also can do it. Some XYZ person also can do it, right? Creating the folder in the platform is different from uploading the data into the folder. Clear? Now, when I say create the folder in Google Drive, only Nishant has the responsibility. Only Nishant's account can do it. Clear? Only Nishant's account can do it. But if I have a folder where I can give access to that folder to other people like Nishant, Akhil, XYZ, now they can upload the data, they can download the data, and then can delete the data from the folder. So creating the folder is called as administration. Creating the folder is called as administration. Using of this folder is your day-to-day operations. Using this folder is your day-to-day operations. And creating this folder for the first time is called as administration. Is it clear? Now, similarly, in the cloud, you will have administration and you will have cloud operations. Cloud operations security is looked at in a different way. Cloud administration security is looked in a different way. I hope it is clear. For example, if I have to do security monitoring for the Google Drive scenario, can you tell me where and all I have to do security monitoring? If I have to do security monitoring for the simple Google Drive scenario, tell me what and all you will do.
So is the security monitoring intended for, actually I'm new for the security monitoring aspect. So is that intended for the users of the folder or
That's what I want you to
provided?
come up. Correct. I want you to come up with different strategies and tell me, Nishant, I will look platform differently, operations differently. So I want you to come up with that strategy.
So we need to have access control list for the folder. That will be taking care of all the users who can access it.
Good.
Then we need IAM. So
Why
that we can
IAM?
allow, I mean, who IAM as in whoever can log in and.
Perfect. Perfect. Then good.
And from folder point of view, if this folder is being accessed by some other, if let us say if it is some shared drive or something, it needs to be encrypted.
Okay. Then.
Nishant, like if we are enabling the monitoring, so we will enable the monitoring like who are has elevated, like if anyone elevates the privileges or who is continuously doing the read and write operations, who is uploading, who is downloading.
Good. So where and all you will apply this? You'll apply to the operations point of view, right?
Yeah, operations point.
Now, where is the security for administration?
Monitoring the input and output.
No. So for example, who can create folder? Correct?
Correct.
So now this is where you need to segregate your security knowledge. For example, I'll segregate in this way. I'll ask a couple of questions. You can segregate it. Only for a simple Google Drive, you have to ask these many questions. These are the minimum questions that you will ask, for a simple Google Drive.
Correct.
Correct. So now this first set of 4 questions are addressing what problems, and second set of questions are addressing what problems.
First, it is taking care of user administrator I don't know, I just coined that term.
Correct. No. That is administration point of view. See, creating a folder is the administration. Enabling open permissions or privileges is an administration point of view. These are operations point of view.
I have a question here, Nishan.
Yes, Krishna.
This administration is done for the account through specified channels. We can create, enable permissions, delete, manage.
Correct.
But these are done by the end user.
No, that is what it is thinking. No, why are you thinking it is done by the end user? He may be done by a cloud administrator.
No,
creating a folder is done by a cloud administrator.
Infrastructure for creation itself is provided by the cloud administrator, right?
This is where we have to segregate ourselves. What type of service are you consuming? Is that Google Drive software as a service, platform as a service, or infrastructure as a service?
Okay.
You're getting the difference, no? Where to draw the thin line? See, it's a software as a service platform. When it is a software as a service platform, you don't worry about operating system, infrastructure, databases, and its security. Rather, your worry will be on who can create the folders, who can enable the permissions for other folders, who can delete the folders, who can manage the permissions on the folder. Is it from an administrator point of view? Once the administrator does his job, he will give it to 10 people. So that in that 10 people, someone can upload, someone can erase, someone can modify, someone can share the folder URL to the other people, and someone can download it. This is operations point of view. Now, in the same example, you have two people. One is an operations engineer. One is an administration engineer. So operations engineer is your end user for the administrator. From an administrator point of view, operations engineer is the end user. Clear? Now, administrator activities should be monitored and end user activities should be monitored. Are they same? Administrator activities should be monitored and end user activities should be monitored. Are they same?
No, different.
Why they are different?
Because for the administrator, end user operations are like data.
See, folder management is administrator's responsibility. Data management is end user's responsibility. Clear? Guys, are you understanding this simple
again,
example?
it is coming back to whether it is PaaS or okay.
That is what I want you to come back. So ultimately it will come back to what type of service you chose. Based on what type of service you chose, your security controls will change in the cloud. Based on the type of service you choose, your security controls and the way you look at the security will change. Okay, clear? And what data points you will collect will also change from the type of service. If you say I'm an infrastructure as a service, I am consuming infrastructure as a service, the points that you look will be different. For example, you created your own operating system. Who takes the responsibility of opening the ports? You as a cloud engineer will take the responsibility of opening the ports. You are purchasing a software as a service. Who will take the responsibility of opening the ports? Okay, on Office 365, did you enable port number 80,443? You all consume Gmail, no? Did you enable port number 80,443 on Gmail server?
No.
Who enabled it then?
Service provider.
Service provider. Now you enable infrastructure as a service. That means you create a VM. Who will take responsibility of opening a port?
Us.
So it all depends upon what type of service you chose. For example, if the type of service that you're choosing is a SaaS, the kind of controls will be different. If you are choosing infrastructure as a service, the kind of controls will be different. Is that clear? Controls will change based on the type of infrastructure that you chose. Yeah. Any questions? No. So what kind of controls, if we have to look at, there is something called perimeter security. There is something called perimeter security, network security, host security, container security, and typically we'll implement some labs on that. So let's talk about what is perimeter security. When I say perimeter security, one is building a defense in depth strategy for your own systems. Then virtual network security, distributed denial of service implementation, Azure firewall implementation, VPN forced tunneling, and UDRs and NVS. We will learn what are those as we go. So first thing, let's understand and build defense in depth strategy. If you take defense in depth strategy, there are multiple layers that you can look from a cloud point of view. So who will take care of physical security? Tell me.
Cloud provider.
Cloud provider. In any case, cloud provider will take the physical security responsibility. Now then comes identity and access management. That means someone should give you access to the cloud. Someone should give you access to the cloud. Someone should give you permission to create a server. Someone should give you permission to delete a server. Someone should give you permission to create a folder. This is easy. This is as equivalent to as administrating a Google Drive folder. Administrating a Google Drive folder. Clear? As well as adminning a Google Drive folder, as well as operations also comes into this picture. For example, who can upload the data? Who can download the data? Is also IAM part. Identity and access management. Privileged identity access management is done at an identity and access management level in the cloud. Clear? Yeah. Then next comes the perimeter. Now tell me, perimeter is you are putting a DDoS protection and Azure firewalls. So you are purchasing software as a service. Are you worried about perimeter security? You're purchasing software as a service. Are you worried about perimeter security? No. Who will take care? No. Cloud provider. Cloud provider. But if you are taking infrastructure as a service, whose responsibility is perimeter security? Your responsibility. Our responsibility is perimeter security. If you take platform as a service, then will you take the perimeter security responsibility? No. To certain extent, yes. Like DDoS, because application is maintained by you, no? Application is maintained by you in platform as a service. So you take the DDoS responsibility, may not Azure firewall responsibility. OK. For example, you take platform as a service. Will you take care of network security? In platform as a service. Yeah. Are you sure? Yes.
Service provider.
I mean, the service provider looks after it. You will be
so
looking at the
networks
application layer.
Correct. You will only touch at the application layer. So application layer networking and application layer interaction you will take care. For example, TLS based communication is what you take care. Network based communication you will not take care. But what if you're taking infrastructure as a service? You will take care of network. Like you have options like network security groups, application security groups, network microsegmentation. Network microsegmentation means, you know, VLANs, no? In a bigger LAN, you are just virtualizing the LAN and securing them, right? Network microsegmentation is equivalent of VLANs. OK. Is VLANs a security concept or a networking concept?
Networking.
Are you sure? It's a networking concept.
Maybe it's
if it is a networking concept, when we come to layer 2 security, you will come up with VLAN as a strategy. Correct? Layer 2 data link layer security. The moment you say, oh, I need to secure my network, you will say, oh, first thing, VLAN segregation. Why? It's a concept. It's a networking concept used to give you security. Yeah. Similarly, network microsegmentation is a concept which will help you to build security in cloud. So you have concepts like network security groups and application security groups. So let's take the compute power. So who will take care of the compute? Compute means server, RAM, disk, storage, RAM, disk, CPU is compute. And then on top of that, you put an operating system. Who will take care of this responsibility? Host security, who will take care? The server security, who will take care? In PaaS. In PaaS, platform as a service, vendor will take care.
Service provider.
Service provider will take care. In software as a service, who will take care of compute model?
Same.
Yeah, but in infrastructure as a service, who will take care of it?
End user, like
End user.
As the end user. Good. Now let's talk about application. Who will take care of application vulnerabilities in SaaS?
Application
Provider.
Vendor or the service provider. Now, if you're purchasing infrastructure as a service, who will take care of application security?
We will be.
Will you do code review for Google, Gmail?
No.
Why? It is a SaaS. We don't take care. Yeah. Then comes the data. For example, you have taken infrastructure as a service where you created your own VM, and in that VM you put the data. For example, my bank data is there in a VM which is sitting on the cloud. Who will take the responsibility of protecting this data?
We will be doing that.
For example, encryption of the data, who should take care? I should take care. Encryption, decryption of the data, I should only take care. Yeah. Access to the machine, I should only take care. Access to the data, I should only take care. Correct? But when you go to the SaaS, who will take care of data? For example, I'll take encryption activity. In SaaS, encryption activity is done by you or this provider.
We should take care of it.
Okay, for example, encrypting the Gmail data on the disk. Are you taking care? You will only take care of access control. Who should have access to the data is only taken care by you. Who should have access to the data is only taken care by you. The data on the disk is encrypted by the provider. I hope, are you able to get my sense of understanding here? Where based on the type of service you choose from the cloud provider, your sense of responsibilities will change. The roles will change. You may not have access to many things. Clear? Now, the best way to learn cloud security is to implement infrastructure as a service and learn, not the software as a service. If you purchase a software as a service model, yeah, if you purchase software as a service model, the amount of security knowledge or the amount of security that you will have is very, very less. You as an engineer don't care about security in a SaaS world. But if you have used or if you are using infrastructure as a service components from the cloud, then your security will come into the picture. So if you would like to decrease the cost of your security, you have to do business application management. That means the business applications has to be migrated from a infrastructure as a service to the SaaS provider. That's when the cost of the security will come down and the amount of security that you have to take care will change. Now, this is from a cloud provider and cloud provider's perspective, user's perspective. Clear on the perspectives? Now, let's take this. This is the cloud consumer, like you and me. These are cloud providers. This is AWS, Azure, Google. Here also there are people. Here also there are people. Correct? If this guy purchases a SaaS, Do he need to care about the security? If this guy, cloud consumer, purchases a SaaS product, does he care about security?
Application security.
SaaS. Yeah, only access control to that.
Only data.
Correct? Yeah, only data management. But if the same person changed his job role and he's sitting in Azure, does he care about security?
Yes, he should.
Why? When he was a SaaS consumer, he never cared. But when he moved to Amazon Azure, why he is caring?
Because he is taking care of the end users.
He is taking care of the infrastructure of the end user. He is taking care of the application of the end user. He is taking care of the security of the end user. Clear? So, based on what role you are playing, the responsibilities will change. So, are you looking from the cloud consumer point of view, or are you looking from the cloud provider point of view? Plays a very, very important role in the compliance part of cloud, which is the most hidden thing from many organizations. Because many organizations, they don't even read their cloud contract with the cloud providers. And this sense of responsibility is very clearly drafted in the cloud providers contract, which very clearly tells that 1, 2, 3, 4 is your responsibility, 4, 5, 6, 7 is cloud providers responsibility. So ultimately, when you have to do incident response, you should know who's taking what responsibility, right? Without understanding who is having what responsibility, will you be able to do an incident response on a cloud? No, you cannot do it. In your playbook, you should write no. Where should the engineer do and from where the engineer has to stop? That's a part of playbook, right? Guys, are you with me? Are you in sync with me?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so let me pause here and see if we can take some questions. Are you feeling that the way I'm coming from? I'm coming from that real world challenges and real world perspectives. This perspective is not a part of exam. Huh? Whose perspective you are looking at, not a part of exam. Learning the product is a part of the exam. But to get a better understanding of the enterprise scenarios, you need to put perspectives rather than the tools. Tools will come, but perspective is important. From whose point you are looking at it. OK. Yeah, your questions, please.
Nishant, I have a question. Like when we were looking at these on-premises to SaaS bifurcation, let's say we have set of applications which are managed on-premises, right? I mean, the organization itself has its own servers and other stuff, and at the same time, they're also engaging the service providers. Now, when it comes to the management of these applications or the platform. Now, basically, how they will be bifurcating in a way of handling the applications. Let's say if it is with regards to access management, how basically they will be able to bifurcate within their premises when they are also engaging the service providers.
Correct. So when we say service providers, right, you mean the cloud service providers, right?
Correct.
Now, for example, I have a hybrid identity. For example, I'll have a hybrid identity management. So let me take a very simple example. For example, we have an Active Directory in every organization. You have a couple of users which are sitting. So Nishant's username is there in this Active Directory. So any machine that is integrated or any machine that is added to the Active Directory, I'll be able to do a single sign-on. In the sense, I'll be able to sign on with Active Directory credentials, correct? And in the same data center, I have an application. This application is talking to Active Directory using Kerberos protocol and then getting the authentication. Correct? Now what happened is I want to move this system from here to cloud. Now I'll ask you 3 questions. Are you going to choose infrastructure as a service? Are you going to choose platform as a service? Are you going to choose software as a service? So if you are choosing infrastructure as a service, you need to take care of operating system. On top of the operating system, you need to deploy the application. And this application, you should provide communication with this Active Directory. Clear? Application has to directly talk to the Active Directory. Is this clear in a platform, in an infrastructure as a service?
Yeah.
Now comes PaaS. I need operating system. Operating system, I don't care. I need only application, correct? Now, can an application directly talk to the Active Directory? No.
Be configured.
An application cannot directly talk to an Active Directory because application uses different protocols. Active Directory uses different protocols to communicate. So what I need an intermediate management. I need an intermediate management where the application which is hosted on the platform as a service will communicate to this intermediate platform. This intermediate platform will talk to Active Directory and get the authentication. OK, and then the next is software as a service. If I am migrating my same application into software as a service model for authentication, I don't need operating system and all. I don't need the direct continuity to Active Directory. But what I need a third-party platform. I need a third-party platform which can help me to communicate with my Active Directory sitting on the on-prem. Now, what is this third-party platform? It can be hybrid Active Directory. It can be Azure Active Directory, pure. It can be Identity Federation. It can be a SAML platform. It can be an OAuth platform. You're getting me? Now, this third party will help me to communicate with my Active Directory for the same authentication of Nishant. So whether he is logging into his computer or whether logging into this application in any form, the architecture will change. The application installation configuration management will change. That's why if you're moving it to a SaaS provider will have a configuration. Sign in with Google, sign in with Gmail, sign in with Facebook. That means when I say sign in with, they are going into a third party application. This third party application can be your Cognito in AWS, can be your hybrid Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, Federation Services, SAML, OAuth, SailPoint, One Ping Identity, Ping Identity, sorry. You're getting authentication management systems, no, all this. So based on the type of architecture, the platforms that you choose will change. The way they communicate will change. You're getting me?
Yes, Nisha. So in that way, when we have to say we are going towards SaaS, ultimately my complete Active Directory should be hosted on the cloud, or should that have to be? Yeah.
Absolutely. Or you can have it normal. You can have it normally on your cloud, but it should expose the REST APIs so that the application can directly do communication.
Okay.
Kerberos protocol cannot talk. REST API should talk there. If you're on the same data center, yeah, your directory can directly talk to your application on a Kerberos. But when it comes, because Active Directory doesn't expose a REST API, you all know that, right? Does an Active Directory exposes a REST API for an application to talk? No. So the application should have Kerberos. So even though when I migrate my application to infrastructure as a service, Kerberos in infrastructure as a service works, but Kerberos in a platform as a service, Kerberos in a software as a service doesn't work. Because Kerberos needs underlying operating system access. Kerberos needs underlying operating system access. How will you get underlying operating system access in platform as a service and software as a service? You will never get. Are you understanding from an architecture point of view? This is a very big architecture. Typically enterprise cloud integration. Like you have a cloud, you have a data center, and you want to migrate one of the application from the in-house premises to the cloud or on-prem to cloud. Now, this kind of challenges will come in cloud. So you need to come up with different solutions and deploy them. Yeah. Yeah. Any specific questions?
Nishant, I have one question. Like, how this service accounts and all, it's I mean, it's interacting with this AD because in our development side, so we use some applications from the SailPoint side, and using the what do you say, using the service account, we will be connecting with the maybe to the AD or any applications which are on the cloud. So how this is maintained, how this is managed?
Correct. Your SailPoint already have a Kerberos protocol inbuilt.
Okay.
So your SailPoint will talk to the Active Directory on a Kerberos protocol, but SailPoint will expose you a REST API for your application. So this is your SailPoint, no? This intermediate one I said, no? That is your SailPoint. Okay. So where it has a capability to talk to the Active Directory, and it has a capability to expose a SAML authentication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So are you understanding, right? Where the sense of responsibility change when you migrate an application from an on-prem to a cloud, things will change. You will have a different perspective, different ways of doing things. It will not be the regular data center job. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Yeah.
Nishan, I'm still not clear about the first part. In infrastructure as a service, operating system, we are having the operating system as well, and that is going to directly talk to AD. So how is the integration happening there without an IAM in between? Intermediary modular.
No, you're talking about infrastructure as a service or platform as a service?
Infrastructure as a service.
Okay, so in an infrastructure as a service, who is maintaining the IP address of this? You have the IP address of this, correct? So you have the IP address of your Active Directory, right? Okay, so now either you can have a VPN between your cloud providers so they can talk using private IP addresses.
Okay.
Yeah? Or you can have both of them running on public IP addresses and they can talk to each other, which is a bad idea. Obviously, you will never expose your Active Directory on a public IP address in any worst case.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So only thing that will be VPN is the one which will be the security aspect. Rest of the thing is non-integration. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Clear, guys? Any doubts? Okay, good. Let's do this way. I'm talking scenarios now. So I have a desktop in my office. I have a desktop in my office. This desktop is connected to a switch, no? This switch is connected to a router, right? Very simple network, huh? This router is connected to a firewall. And firewall is connected to ISP. Is it the correct scenario? Is it a correct architecture?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Is it the right architecture?
I think desktop service provider.
A better way of putting it. This is your security appliance. It can be a firewall, load balancer, anything. Yeah. This is a router. And this is a router. You can ask me, why did you put a router here? What is the responsibility of a router?
Learn and propagate routes and
Yeah, that is a, for example, from a route exposure point of view, because you want your routes to be, you want your local routes to be exposed to the external provider, whoever it is. From a security point of view,
it will help in netting.
okay. Okay, router natting is done long back. Now people left router nattings. So what we do, yeah, it is firewall who is taking care now. So typically when we say router, right, only the traffic that is intended to me will come inside, correct? Any traffic that is flowing outside will not come and hit my firewall. Which is costly? Router is costly or firewall is costly? Obviously firewall.
Firewall.
So firewall is a security appliance and you only want intended traffic to come to you, not any other junk traffic that is going on the network. Clear? Any traffic that is going on the junk ISP network, if someone broadcasts or multicast a frame, I don't want that to come and hit my firewall. Correct? So we will put always router, telling that, hey, ISP, you are connected to a router. Only the traffic that is intended, only the traffic that is intended for me to come inside will reach my firewall. Only the intended traffic will reach my firewall. In that intended traffic, I will do filtration and then allow it inside. Inside my network, I may have multiple networks. Maybe this is a business unit marketing. I may have another business unit with another network. So that network segregation will happen with another router. And then each network is expanded with a switch. A very simple network. Is this clear? Now, where and all you will put security. Switch at switch level, what security? First of all, I'll come to desktop. At desktop level, what security will you put?
Antivirus.
Data encryption. Yeah, that's what endpoint. Antivirus. At a switch level. At switch level, what put security you will put?
VLANs.
Layer 2 VLAN. Then MAC binding. Will you do MAC binding on the switch?
Good practice.
Yeah. Good. At a router level.
AC.
Router ACL. Correct. At a firewall level. I can do proxy. Natting.
Inspection.
Traffic inspection. Yeah. Packet inspection. Good. At a router again. ACL. And route distribution. If you are using BGP, OSPF and all, route distribution configuration security will be there. Correct? Now, different security in different levels here. Correct? In all this case, who is maintaining the infrastructure?
Enterprise.
You as an engineer is maintaining, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you go to the cloud, you will have exactly same network. You will exactly have same network in the cloud. But who will take the responsibility of it at each level?
Depending on the service.
Depends on the model.
Depends on the model. If it is an infrastructure as a service, you will take care of everything. If it is a platform as a service, only some of this you will take care. If it is a software as a service, nothing is in your hand. Clear?
Yeah.
Sorry. So if I have to put a DDoS protection here, where will I put? Where will I put the DDoS appliance? Before the router or before the edge router or after the edge router? If I have to put a DDoS security appliance, where will I put it?
Between router and ISP.
Why between the router and ISP?
Nothing.
Okay, sorry. Between the router and the firewall, because we don't want to take care of unwanted traffic.
unwanted traffic. We don't want to take care of unwanted traffic. So for the traffic that is coming inside my network only, I want to take care. So here you will put the DDoS appliance. Clear? Guys, if you don't know these keywords, do let me know. I'm assuming that you guys have completed some of the basic fundamental, what is DDoS and all, you know, what is security, what is switch and all. I'm assuming that you already know what is it. Yeah, please do let me know if you don't know that. Okay.
Nishant, I have one question.
Yeah, Sri Krishna.
Whatever you have explained about the DDoS, it is clear here, but is it not possible that there is a DDoS attack which can harm the router, the edge router itself?
Absolutely.
Is it not possible?
Absolutely, there is a possibility. But what is the job of router? DDoS, yes, very good question. DDoS happens at what layer? Application layer or network layer?
It can be prevention of resource usage, RAM or CPU.
Correct. So it can be an application layer DOS or it can be a layer 3, layer 4 DOS. If it is a layer 3, layer 4 DOS, router may have an impact. But if it is a layer 7 DOS, router will not impact. The reason is router is only worried about layer 3. Correct?
Right.
Router is only worried about layer 3. And what is the power of router? Router is a device which is only routing the traffic. That's it. Yeah, if any huge amount of traffic comes, it will not be able to handle. That is there. So that means you have to put one more DDoS before. That's how we call it as layered security, no? Why we have multiple layers of security? For example, I have an endpoint. Why will I have an antivirus then? When endpoint can take care of it, no?
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions just to come out of that. You're getting me right? When an endpoint is there, why do I need an antivirus?
So expert protection at different layers.
Yes, at each layer you need to put different controls. At each layer you need to put different controls. One control will not work in all the layers, correct? Now you understood this? In defense in depth mechanism, at each layer you will put multiple controls. For each control, there is a different service in AWS, Azure or Google Cloud. At each service, it's different. At each layer, the control is different. Are we good on this?
Yes.
Any specific questions here? So if I have to do a DDoS implementation, this is how we put it. So your consumer will go to the Azure portal. Inside the Azure portal, he will enable DDoS protection. He will enable DDoS protection and write a policy with public IP addresses telling that, hey, on these public IP addresses, I would like to protect. That's it. It will take care. Clear? Now let's take this scenario. Let's take this scenario. You have a firewall here, no? You have a firewall here, right? What are the capabilities of a firewall? What are the capabilities of a firewall?
Filter traffic.
It is filtering the traffic. Firewall filters the traffic at which layer?
At multiple layers.
So from layer 2 to layer 7, it can work. We all talk next generation firewalls. Now, what are these? Next generation firewalls are capable of doing NATing, load balancing, proxying, SSL offloading, email gateway, network, deep packet inspection. All these are features of one device. That's called as next generation firewall. Now, similarly, in Azure, if you go for the cloud, there are two types of firewall implementations. One is called as Azure Firewall Standard and Azure Firewall Premium. Yeah. Now, if the traffic is coming into the network, If the traffic is coming into the network, so if it comes and hits the firewall, if it is a regular standard, it can do layer 3 to layer 7 management. It can also do layer 3 to layer 7 management, but it doesn't have URL filtering, IDS, IPS inspection, TLS inspection, that is offloading the data. Web categories are not there in the regular firewall. It can only do layer 3 to layer 7 basic analysis. Like you just go ahead and enable a firewall port. You just go ahead and disable a system from it. Now in Azure Firewall, you can protect the resources that are there. You can protect the services that are there in the virtual networks in the cloud, and also Azure Firewall can help you to protect on-premise traffic filtering. On-prem traffic filtering is also possible with the Azure Firewall, regular Azure Firewall standard. Then you have Azure Firewall Premium. It does the same job of protecting the network, but it also has external capabilities like TLS inspection. Intrusion detection and prevention system is by default there. URL filtering is possible. Categorization of the web is possible on the Azure Firewall Premium. Clear?
Yeah.
Now this Azure Firewall comes in multiple things. You can purchase an Azure Firewall that is built by Azure, or you can purchase an Azure Firewall from Checkpoint, iBoss, Zscaler. It is the same. It's only that the software will change. If you take Azure Firewall, it is built by Azure. If you take Zscaler, you can replace the Azure Firewall with Zscaler. You can replace Azure Firewall with Checkpoint. You can remove Azure Firewall and put a Cisco in that place. It's the vendor who is changing. It's the vendor who is changing, and his capabilities will change. Yeah.
Nishant, I have one question here. So Zscaler, can we take it as a VPN or is it kind of any file?
See, Zscaler has multiple options. Huh?
Okay.
See, it all depends upon the architecture of the Zscaler. So typically, let's understand the Zscaler architecture to understand whether it is the right fit here or not. See, Zscaler is very clear. If this is your endpoint, you install one agent here. You install one agent here. That's it. Rather than having a firewall on your on-prem, what we do is, what Zscaler tells is, traffic will come, go through our systems, Zscaler systems, and exit. OK, now, if you just want traffic to come and exit, I will use VPN. Zscaler VPN. Now, the same traffic, if you want me to inspect at layer 2 and layer 3, I need to purchase a new service. That means in the Zscaler portal, I need to activate another service. If I want layer 7 inspection, I will enable another service. If I want SSL inspection, I'll enable all the services.
Okay, because so our development servers, most of them were deployed in Azure only. So without connecting to this Zscaler, we will be not be able to access those links at all. So those.
In your case, the architecture is designed in such a way that they said, OK, you need to connect to Zscaler. Zscaler is going to act as a VPN as well as this security is there before even the service reaches the Azure.
Okay.
Now, what options they have enabled, we don't know. But from when you're telling it, I understood that they are enabling the security via Zscaler. So that means the exit point for you is Zscaler to reach Azure.
Okay.
Via Azure, via Zscaler, you're reaching the Azure.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions here? Now, you have another concept here. Now, if you have one firewall, that's good. But what if you have 10 firewalls in your organization or in your cloud? I have something called as Azure Firewall Manager. Azure Firewall Manager, where you can write a rule in the firewall manager and push the same rule across multiple firewalls in your networks in Azure. In Azure, you may have 10 firewalls. That all the 10 firewalls can be managed using Azure Firewall Manager. Okay. We'll build some of the labs, then it will be clear. First lab will be difficult. First lab will take time, but later it will be easy. Yeah.
And
Then
Nishant,
what this? Yeah.
sorry for interruption. Nishant, do you concentrate over only on this Azure thing, or also do you concentrate on AWS as well?
No, because the main aim is to clear AZ500 and get the things. I'll first focus on Azure. In case if you have any very specific questions on AWS, let me know. I'll arrange. I'll talk on that also. No problem.
Okay. Is there any services in the AWS that belongs to this firewall thing?
Repeat that. Sorry.
Do you have any services in AWS that alternative to Azure? Azure firewall?
Yeah. You have an AWS firewall, no? You have AWS firewall. AWS firewall manager is there. AWS DDoS protection is there.
Oh, okay.
There is equivalent. See, in almost all the cloud providers, you have equivalent services. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have firewall manager where you can write explicitly one rule on one firewall, or you can go ahead and be a global administrator and you can push the same firewall rules across your firewalls. Now, can you tell me, being a firewall engineer, some of you are firewall engineers, think you have 30 firewalls in your organization. Do you see some common overlapping rules in all the firewalls? Is there a common overlapping rule?
Yeah.
Did you observe in all the firewalls? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you give any example, Joel? Thank you.
Maybe block a certain port, like
block a certain port, which is very common. Yeah, or by default deny is a common rule, no? Now that you can write it as a global policy here. When you say global policy, every firewall give precedence to global policies. Every firewall will give precedence to the global policies. First, global policies are executed. If it is meeting the criteria, the traffic is dropped or allowed. And then the individual firewall specific rules are executed. So if you have a global policy, if you have a very common policies across your firewalls, that can be done by this guy.
So this is only done by the global admin, or is there a certain role as well?
No, we call him as global administrator. You can have any role and then do the job. That should not be a problem as long as he has the permissions.
Okay.
Yeah. So what Azure Firewall can do for me is it can do application fully qualified domain name filtering, that is URL filtering. Network traffic filtering it can do. You can actually tag some of the websites with a tagging name and then give the tags. It can do source NAT, outbound source NAT, inbound destination NAT. Layer 3 to layer 7 connectivity policies can be written. You can segregate different subnets under the firewall and protect different subnets separately. You can have static public IP addresses to your firewalls. You can also tunnel the traffic as a VPN. Now, all these features are available on the Azure Firewall. Even you can enable SSL VPN on these firewalls so that your end users can connect. Clear? Now, who will patch the operating system of the firewall?
The firewall vendor.
Firewall vendor or Azure?
Yeah, I mean this Azure. Yeah.
In this case, Azure, right? Now, who will write the rule? You. You will configure the firewall and you will configure the rule. OK. Is it clear?
Yep.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll take a very quick 15-minute break, come back from the break, and then we will continue the study. So if I have to look at, currently it's around 11:44. We'll meet at 12. Around 1:30, I'll give a break. Is it okay? For everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
All you are working, all you are attending from the home, no? So should not be a problem. Okay. So around 1:30 to 2:30, I'll give you a break, okay? Or 1 to 2 makes sense. What do you prefer?
1:30 to 2:30.
1:30 is fine, no? Yeah. So that I can also complete one lab and then I'll give a break. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back everyone.
Hi, Nishan.
Hi, Nishan.
Hi. Hello everyone.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Now what we spoke here is a simple firewall. Okay, there is something called as user defined routes and virtual network appliances. What are these user defined routes? Let's take a very simple example and understand what is this user defined route. So let me draw a picture, and from that picture we will understand. You all stay in apartments. No, you know how people stay in apartments and all. There are individual flats and there are apartments, correct? For example, this is a society. In society, I have 4 towers. Tower number 1, tower number 2, tower number 3, and tower number 4. Assuming that in the tower number 2, VIPs will stay. Think this is a very big rich people society. In tower 2 and tower 4, rich people stay. And there's a lot of security for this apartments. Yeah. And tell me how many typical entrances and exits will be there for a society? Ideally. 2 or 3, no? One is west gate, one is east gate, something like that will be there, no? Correct? But for our society, only one exit point is there. One exit point is there. Anyone who want to come into this society, anyone who want to leave this society should only come through one exit point and entry point. Clear? And I have 4 towers. Now tell me, ideally what we do, each tower will have an underground parking, no? Correct? So you come, if you're thinking that I'm coming in the car, you will come from the, you will come to the car. Now tell me, typically you will have a road to all the towers, right? A road. Tower 1, tower 2, tower 3, tower 4, correct? You know what we are doing? We don't have a road to tower 2 and tower 4. You only have road to tower 1 and you have a road to tower 3. That's it. The road is only there for tower 1 and tower 3. Anyone who want to go to tower 2 and tower 4, they should come to tower 1, park their car there. They have to park the car there and they have to go to tower 2 and tower 4 by walk. By walk. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts? No. If you assume this as an Azure network, this society is called as VNet. This society is called as virtual network. This tower 1, tower 2, tower 3, tower 4 are called as subnets. Any subnet which has a route towards the internet. That means any tower which has a route, which has a route, which has a road. I will call it as public subnet. Any subnet which doesn't have a route towards the internet is called as private subnet. Making sense? Now, in each tower, you have different floors. You have different floors, no? And in each floor, you have an apartment, one or multiple apartments. So each apartment has a door. So thinking that each apartment is a VM. Assume that each apartment is a VM. Joel, can you go on mute? Yeah, thank you. Assuming that each apartment is a VM. OK, at a VM level, you can put security like every apartment has a door. At a VM level, you can put security. In between the subnets, that is in between the towers, you can put a security. At the entry into the network, you can put a security. Clear? Now, so one of the minister from this VIP, one of the VIP from this, he said, hey guys, we are getting difficulty in transportation. We want a separate route. We want a separate route. So they say, OK, go to the public. Go to one of the tower 1 and tower 2, and from tower 1, there is a separate route. From tower 3, there is a separate route to the internal towers. Internal towers. So this is called as user defined route. It's called as user defined route. UDR. UDR. This by default routes are system defined routes. System defined routes. Basic, simple to start with. Yeah. Now this gate is there, no? The entry point. It's called as gateway. So very simple to understand is any public subnet will have a route towards the gateway, and private subnets doesn't have route towards the gateways. Clear? Any questions? Now where will we put firewall? Where should we put firewall?
Can you repeat the difference between UDRs and system defined routes?
By default, there are some routes that gets created. OK, they are system defined routes.
Can we assume this as
OK, for example, to reach in the same tower, I need a route.
Yeah.
To reach in the same tower, I need a route, right? That's the default route.
Yeah.
So that default route is system defined routes, or default routes also you can say. But if you want an explicit connection, if you want to explicitly write a route, then it is a user defined routes. Is that clear, Venkatesh?
Yeah.
OK, good. Guys, is this simple diagram clear? Because on this diagram only we are doing the lab as we progress.
Yes.
OK, now see, every apartment I can put a security guard, no? Can I put a security guard at each apartment tower? It's up to me, no?
Yeah.
I can put a security guard at each and every tower. And in front of my each apartment, can I put a security guard? Is there anything wrong?
No.
It's me, up to me. I am ready to spend money and I'll put it. OK. Now, if you are putting a security guard in front of your apartment, in front of your door, it is called as NSG. It is called as NIC based NSG. NIC based NSG. Network Security Group. It's called as Network Security Group. You can have two levels of NSG. At a VM level, you can put a NSG, that is in front of your apartment, you can put a security guard. Subnet level is NSG. That means in front of a tower also you can put a security guard. Up to you. Up to you how you want to design your security mechanisms. OK, clear? There is a VM level NSG and a subnet level NSG. Any doubts? Network Security Group. And then. So you can write security groups in such a way that you can have a subnet level NSG. So once the subnet level energy is crossed, once the subnet level NSG is crossed, then the traffic will hit the NIC level NSG. Network Security Group. So once once you pass the security guard in the ground floor of the tower, you cross the security guard in front of my apartment, and then you get into the home. Clear? Now what you said, hey, at a tower level, security guard is good. At a tower level, security guard is good. But in front of every apartment having a security guard, does it make sense? It also makes sense for some people. For some people, it may not make sense. But what you want to do, hey, rather than putting every security guard in front of each and every apartment, what I will do for the entire floor, we will arrange one security guard. For the entire floor, we will arrange one security guard. That is called as ASG, Application Security Group. Rather than having a security guard at each apartment, in front of each apartment, you're putting an entire floor and say, hey, first floor, one security guard, second floor, another security guard, third floor, another security guard. However, for the entire tower, there is another security guard. It also makes sense. No, there is nothing wrong. Now, based on how rich you are, if you can afford security guard at each apartment, or if you say, I want to group all of these apartments and make a one security group, absolutely you can do that. So you have application security groups and you have network security groups. Network security groups can be applied at a interface level or it can be applied at a subnet level. But however, multiple group of interfaces or multiple group of systems can be combined together and you can put an application security group. Any questions here? Now, all these terms that I am using are Azure specific. These are Azure specific. When you go out of Azure comfort zone, these names will change. These names will change. For example, to give you a simple example, there is nothing like ASG, NSG in AWS. It is simply called as security group. And in between the subnets, if you want to put controls, you will have network ACL. That's it. So based on the cloud provider, these concepts and terminologies may change. The behavior of them will change. Clear?
Yep.
And what are different capabilities of each? For example, NSG and ASG, and how do they differ? For example,
Yeah,
what kind of
it's just a
protocols
group. See, NSG typically supports network layer. ASG supports layer 7 also. So this is how you will put
including network layer. I mean, ASG supports both. I mean,
ASG supports both. ASG supports both, but specially designed for application.
Okay.
But NSG supports specially for network level. For example, if you want to put a subnet level routing, ASG cannot do it. ASG typically you will use it for application layer routing. For example, blocking a firewall, blocking a URL makes more sense at a ASG level. Blocking a HTTP protocol makes more sense at a ASG level. Blocking a IP address makes more sense at a network level. And that's what we are going to do, a very simple lab in this class. So let me go ahead and explain you the lab and the requirements for this.
Nishant, one question.
Yeah, sorry, Sri Krishna.
Yeah, so are these industry standards like whatever this NSG and ASG are there?
No, there's nothing like industry standard. The reason is the way each cloud provider implements is different. And their services are different. So there is nothing like industry standard that everyone should follow the same rules and regulations. No, that is not there.
So no RFC or anything like that for this, right?
No, there's nothing like an RFC and all which follows exactly the same requirements. But ultimately everything follows TCP/IP stack. Whether you are a cloud or non-cloud, it should follow TCP/IP stack only.
Okay, so does it mean any of the service all of them provide this facility, NSG, ASG facility?
That is what I'm telling you. No, the naming convention is different. Here, it's like this. For example, there is a NSG and ASG, right? Here, there is nothing like NSG, ASG in AWS. They call it with a different name and their implementation is different.
Okay, this is Azure specific security model.
Yeah, whatever we are talking is Azure specific names only.
Okay,
correct.
Maybe it's not a Azure specific security model, Azure specific terminology, I can say. Is that right, Nishant? Or?
The problem here is if I think that it is an Azure specific, then you will ask me, What is the equivalent of ASG in AWS? I don't have an equivalent of ASG in AWS. I don't have an equivalent of NSG in AWS. Exact equivalent. But both of them are combined into one feature called ACLI and SG. So that's where I will have a challenge also to explain you. That's why always in cloud providers, understand the concepts rather than the names. Obviously, you can only clear certifications with names. If you understand the concept, you will never clear them because you don't know, right, which name calls what. So this is one challenge that you are going to get when you are a multi-cloud guy. You have to unlearn some of them and relearn it.
But these are the facilities owing to the virtualization capabilities, right?
Repeat that. Sorry.
So these facilities will come into picture just because virtualization is possible.
Correct.
That is all
Correct.
which is offering. So
Correct.
the concept might be equivalently implementable even in AWS service.
Absolutely. See, for example, blocking of a firewall, blocking of an IP address is possible in every cloud provider. But doing a DDoS protection is possible everywhere. Here it is called as Azure DDoS. There you will call it as AWS Shield. The name will change, but ultimately everything will work on the same concept of TCP/IP and rate limiting.
Oh.
You're getting right. See, for example, DDoS protection. Do you think DDoS protection is different? No, it is same. Every DDoS is based on rate limiting, right?
Right.
Now that rate limiting is applied on AWS and the rate limiting is applied on GCP and rate limiting is applied on Azure. But the terms may change. For example, AWS will call it as AWS Shield. Azure will call it as Azure DDoS protection. Google will call it as Armor. Oracle will call it as Oracle DDoS protection. Then DDoS Pro, DDoS Basic, Advanced Anti-DDoS. So Ali Cloud will call it with a different name.
Okay.
Naming conventions may change, but ultimately their job is to protect. Clear?
Yeah.
Guys, any questions? Let's do a very, very simple lab here on application security group and network security group. So this is what we are going to do in our class. Yeah, we are going to create a virtual network from very basic. We will create a simple virtual network. And the virtual network address is 10.0.0.0/16. It's a /16 subnet based IP address. OK, in this network, we are going to create another subnet. We are going to create another subnet called as 10.0.0.0/24. So this subnet name is default. I have a virtual network. Virtual network name is my virtual network. And I have another default subnet, which is 10.0.0/24. Very basic example to start with. OK. So we'll create a very simple virtual network first. After creating virtual network, we will create security groups. We'll create application security groups. OK, and then we will create network security groups. We will create network security groups. Network security group we will apply to the subnet. Network security groups we will apply to the subnets. Application security groups we will combine multiple VMs. We'll combine multiple VMs, group them together, and then create application security groups. Create application security groups. And then we will write a rule in the network security group to allow the RDP and HTTPS traffic, because it has to cross the network, it has to cross the building security guard, right? Who is building security guard? NSG. Who is floor level security guard? ASG. So you can assume that my virtual network is your society. Default is your tower name, tower or building name. In that building, you have a security guard who is called as NSG. And at a floor level, you have ASG, security guard. Clear? Now, obviously, you need to deploy the application. No, you should have your apartments, right? These apartments that you are talking about is your VMs. So on one of the VM, we will enable some application, and then the other VM we will enable another application. So we have different exercises, and each exercise has a couple of tasks. OK, any questions? So as a part of the first exercise, we will create a virtual network. Now for us to do this, we need access to the Azure. So can I assume that everyone have Azure account?
So I have the Azure account, but like I don't have any subscriptions. So do I have to?
But our team could have already given you subscriptions, no? So that you can start working on it. Is it not? OK, how many of you already have like everything is working fine? How many of you have issues? You can raise your hands. Like issues means not having a subscription, or that subscription doesn't have balance in it, or the subscription is not accessible, something like that. Guys, any questions here?
Nishant, any idea how we can check the balance?
Yeah, I'll show you. So all of you got Azure passes, no? $100 credit, something of that sort, right?
No, sir. At least four or five people raised their hand, so we don't have the subscriptions.
Sorry.
I think four people don't have the subscription, sir. I mean, we have the Azure account created, and we don't have the.
OK, let me just give me 1 minute. I'll check with the people. One second. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Guys, I have shared a link in the chat box. If you go to that link, OK, if you go to that link, you will see check your balance. Check your balance. So if you click on check your balance, OK, it will ask you for your username password. So guys, before you do any of my labs, I always tell one thing. You should open an incognito window or a private window, and you should only do labs in that window. You should open an incognito window or a private window, and then only you have to do my labs. The reason is everyone, if you are connecting from your office laptop, it may redirect you to your office account. There is one challenge. Another challenge is people by mistake, they log into your corporate accounts and they do it without realizing that they are doing it. It's not their mistake. It happens because I have seen it in multiple courses. Always, I would recommend you to use incognito window or a private window, and everything that you do, please do it with your Gmail or Yahoo credentials. Don't use your office credentials anywhere else. Clear? And I think Rizul will check with all of you guys to see how to arrange it. Okay. I heard that, you know, in the previous course, in the previous classes also you had Azure accounts. Venkateshwara, you don't
Yes,
have.
yes.
Yeah,
Sir,
but what happened to that?
We had, but we had problems and we didn't
Oh,
continue.
you could not do any labs over there?
I hope nobody. It's not only me.
Sorry, sir. Venkateshwara, it's about 48 only, right? You're not able to do. But
Yeah,
this
yeah.
much you can able to do. This 48 is a licensed version. So that's what you're not able to do.
Yeah, but like last time, I don't have the. I mentioned this also. I don't have the subscription as well, Jordan. So
then why you not ping me? Okay, once
Okay.
break is there, just ping me. I will make it sure.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. So we'll go ahead and address that also. So always, as I recommend it, I will also do it in an incognito window. I'll go to my portal.azure.com. So before you start any lab, do this, Saga. Just observe. So my way of teaching is this. First, I will go ahead and show you demo. You have to only observe me. If you have any important points, you note down. If you have any questions, note down. If you have any doubts, note down. After completing that, you can ask me all your doubts. I will explain it and then I'll give you 1.5 hour time to practice it. Clear? Observation is very, very important and you should know where you are clicking. And if you are very new to the Azure console, it takes time for you to identify the options and the placement. So it's better you just observe in the initial few labs and then you can follow it. I'm logging into my Gmail account. OK. After logging into your Gmail account, or if it is Reva University account, or if it is any of this, use it, except the office email ID. So I logged into my account here. After logging into my account, very simple is to know whether your subscriptions are active or not. You have to go something like this. Search for subscriptions and you should see a couple of subscriptions. As long as you have subscriptions, that is good enough. That is good enough. OK, now I'll give you quickly 5 minutes for every one of you to log into your Azure account, go to subscriptions and check any of the subscriptions is activated or not.
Yeah, I don't find anything there.
OK, all of you don't find anything here?
No, Nishant.
So we had received a Outlook invite. From there, we logged in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it says Reva
If
University.
Not, so yeah. OK, no worries. If not, all of you, can you click on virtual machines? Click on virtual machines and say create a virtual machine. Just create a virtual machine and you should see this subscription. Are you able to see any of the subscriptions here? If you are able to see any of the subscriptions like Azure Pass and all, it's good. If you are unable to see,
we have Azure for Students. That subscription we have.
That's good. Any subscription is fine. For example, in my case, it will be MSDN because I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. For example, I am also partner with Reva, so I'll have a different subscriptions. Subscription name may change, but you should have some subscriptions like Azure Pass, Azure Student, something of that sort should be there.
Yeah, Azure for Students. Yeah.
OK, excellent. Even after, if you cannot see, you should always be in the default directory of Azure. You should be in the default directory of Azure. When you are in the default directory of Azure, look at the subscriptions are different. Now, this is just for your knowledge. OK, I'm switching my directory. See, I have a couple of directories like Reva University, Skillsoft Corporation, my own consulting, Reva University training subscription. I have different directories. Think I'm switching my directory. I'm switching to Nishant Consultant directory. I have to re-authenticate. When I'm switching the directories, I have to re-authenticate. Always this is a confusion. Always this is a confusion for multiple people, and that is okay. It is accepted. And I'll show you. Before it was MSDN, no? Now I will show you my subscriptions. You will not see the same names. It will change. See, MSDN subscription MCT. The name changed. The name changed. Then you have pay as you go subscription. Like this, I have different subscriptions. First, you should have directories. In each directory, you will have subscriptions. OK, in case if you cannot find any of your subscriptions in one directory, you can always switch the directory and check. You can always switch the directory and check it. Clear?
So directory is basically to manage the subscriptions, or?
Correct. Directory is like managing your subscriptions. And in subscriptions, you may have multiple types of subscriptions. Why this concept is there? Because think you are a very big business, like you are a very big company. You may have multiple business units, right? And you may be a part of 50-60 countries, and each country you want to manage it separately. So what you do, you create each country's subscription directory differently, and inside the directory you create subscriptions. So maybe for testing, you may have one subscription where Azure is sponsoring you. One of the customer is, you want to do a testing only in that subscription. You want to keep it so that when the customer takes away project from you, you move the subscription from your account to his account.
Okay.
That possibility is there. So you have directories. Inside the directories, you have subscriptions. Inside the subscription, you have resource groups. Inside the resource groups, you will do the labs.
Okay. And these subscription, I mean, at the end of the day, we can manage the billing. We can manage centrally, for example.
Yeah. Everything is managed centrally only. All directory billing you can manage at a single place, or at a directory level you can manage the billing, or even at a subscription level you can manage the billing. Clear? Everyone should have something like this. Can I expect that no one has any issues? If you still have issues, please raise your hands. Like our friend subscription is not active, Venkatesh Verlu. Can you keep the hands raised so I know that still you have issues? Okay, Marimutu, what I want is, can you share your screen? I would like to quickly observe in which directory you are in and what is the issue. I have stopped sharing. You can share it. It's just for my awareness so that I can accordingly guide you or suggest you. OK, no problem. First thing, you have to close this window, dear. Close this window. Open an incognito window, please. Open an incognito or a private window. Anything is fine for me. Yeah, excellent. So can you go to portal.azure.com? So whatever is the email ID that you have used till now, you can use that email ID to log in.
Okay.
Whether it is your Reva email ID or personal, whatever it is. And please confirm me, is this the same email ID on which you have received the meeting invite or the Azure invite?
Different one, I think. I will just check.
So please use that email ID. On whichever email ID you have received the invite, please use that email ID only to log in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Nishan.
Yeah.
I have pasted the available credits in my account. It's only $3.
That's good enough. Total credit is 100, used to 97. Oh, did you stop? Did you forget to stop any of your services before?
Actually, I did stop some time back itself, but at that time it was 84. Now it is 97. What is running?
I think $3 is not enough for us lab. Yeah, this is not enough.
So can we use our own corporate account for doing this lab?
Absolutely fine, but it's up to your risk. If you, again, I'm not sure how comfortable you are and how comfortable with the configuration and what is allowed, what is not allowed. So I would always prefer to go for a normal account. If something happens, it's a matter of deleting the account. I cannot go ahead and fiddle with your enterprise account.
Okay. Because
that is a
I
challenge.
have a Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. So with that, we will get 200 dollars every month free.
But so you understand the concept of subscriptions now. So because you understand the concepts of subscriptions, you can do it by yourself, no problem. But there are if you are not a person who understands what is subscription, how it works. For example, in your case, if you have Visual Studio subscription, that means you are an advanced user.
Okay.
So you can use it, no problem. That is Manjunath, right?
Venkateshwara.
Venkateshwara. Okay, if you can use that, then no problem. If you already a Visual Studio subscription, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Is there any workaround for this? What can I do now?
First login, no? First, after logging in, we will see.
Yeah, I logged in.
Okay, now log in. So explore the student benefits, access student benefits and explore it. Are you sure this is the account on which you have received the invitation?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Now open the same account in the same incognito window, whichever account it is, Gmail and all. Click on that accept invitation, please. Did you accept the invitation yet? No.
I didn't receive the primary mail.
See, nothing like primary mail, dear. Only one email ID. On which email ID you have received, from that email ID you should log into Azure. Very simple. See, for example, pathinishant@gmail.com. I received invite. I will create an account with pathinishant@gmail.com. So if you have received an invite on marimuthu.cs08@outlook, you just log in with that account and activate your subscription. Very simple. No primary email ID, no secondary email ID, nothing like that.
Okay. Just go to outlook.office. I mean outlook.com.
In the same window, open a new window and go for Outlook in the same browser. Outlook.com. Huh? Very simple, guys. See, don't give multiple email IDs and all. See, so in the initial days, the Azure is a lot of confusing, so don't worry about that. So just check whether you have received an email from Azure. Oh, sorry, Reva University.
No, I haven't received any email from Reva University to this email ID specifically.
No, see,
So,
go to the next Belvinder. Belvinder
yeah.
Jordan C invited.
Yeah, sir.
On
Invitation
9th.
from my end.
Yeah, correct. So yes, go to Belvinder Jordan C. His email. No, it's in front of you. Fourth email ID. Fourth email. Yeah, correct. Yeah, see, accept the invitation, please. Now it makes sense. Now it will activate your subscription, Marimuthu. Okay, you go to the next tab, no, please. Whatever the tab opening, no, just stay there, okay? Yeah, click accept. Perfect. So Marimuthu, from next time when you log in, please log into marimuthu.cs08@outlook.com from an incognito window. That's good enough from. Okay, let's wait for the access to complete. Okay, let's wait for this to complete.
Sir, I can share the instructions for setting this up with Marimuthu if you want.
Yeah, please. I think anyway, only 1 or 2 people are there. No, we can activate it immediately. Yeah, this is good enough. Now just go to Google, open a new window and go to Google and search for Microsoft Azure Pass. Search for Microsoft Azure Pass. Balance. Microsoft Azure Pass balance. Microsoft Azure Pass balance. Soft Azure Pass balance. Yeah, perfect. Search for that. Scroll down a little. Yeah, go that. Yeah, correct. The next one is also fine. Yeah, check your balance. Click on check your balance. Okay, this account does not have a active sponsorship. No problem.
Yeah, this is the same thing I received.
That's what I'm telling you. No problem. You have to wait for my.
So I went and created a VM and.
Yeah, 1 second.
Nishan, even I'm facing the same issue. Even my account also don't have any active sponsorship.
Wait, no. I'm going to show him on the screen. So please observe what I'm doing. Then you will get to know things, huh? Okay, now Marimuthu, can you go to your first tab? Go to your first tab. Yeah. Now reload this page. Log out and log in, please. Log out, log in to this page. Yeah. So sign out. Excellent. Now close this window, please. Entirely close the incognito window. Only first time you will face these challenges, guys. After that, you will fix it. Open a fresh incognito window, please, or a private window. Now log into portal.azure.com. Just observe what I'm doing. You will get to know things. Yeah. If you did not get any email ID Venkateshwara, just see if it is in the spam. By mistake, it could have gone to spam. Dot Marimuthu. CS08. Click on sign in. Yes. Just observe. Observe what I'm doing. So you know. I have to troubleshoot now, no? Otherwise, how will I know how his has to work? Now, if you see Marimuthu, you are in the Reva University subscription.
Yes.
Sorry, directory. Correct. Now click on create a resource. Click on create a resource over there. Guys, this is how you need to test. Okay, click on virtual machine. Okay, now you see it is asking you that you don't have anything activated, so you cannot do anything. That's how it is. You're able to see, no? Now what you do on your right side top, there you see Reva University. Click on the Reva University on the top. Yes, click on that. Now switch the directory. Switch the directory. Now let me see how many directories you have. Okay, you only have one directory, that is the Reva University directory. Now, this is how we have to troubleshoot to know how many directories are active in your subscription. See, no subscriptions in the Reva University directory is active. Now, this is where our team will come into the picture. If this is active, it is easy for them to activate your subscriptions. If this itself is not there for you, if you are not even in the Reva University, or if you don't even have a default subscription, that is where the problem starts. Clear? If you are like this, that means our team can help you immediately in activating any subscription. But if you don't even have this, then it's a challenge. So you should be inside the Reva directory and then activate a subscription, or you can have your own directory and activate the subscription. Anything is fine. Now, everyone who is telling that you have an issue, are you at the same stage? Verify yourself. You have to verify.
No, sir. Right now, I don't have any directories.
Okay, you don't even have any directory. So those who are telling that you don't have a directory, that means you have to go to the email that is sent by Mr. Belavendra or Jordan. Yeah, Mr. Jordan, and then click on that so that you can activate the subscription and directory. After doing that also, if it is not, then we have to rethink of where the mistake happened. Okay, this is how you need to troubleshoot. So those who are facing issue, please troubleshoot it like this. Yeah, those who are having issue, please troubleshoot it like this.
Nishan, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
So once we accept the invitation, we have to go to the student access and claim your Azure credits now. Is that
correct? Correct. That's the ideal process. I think, Jordan, that's the same process that you have followed, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Yeah, Jordan, you followed the same process, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough.
And I
now,
created SOP and I send it to all them also.
Okay, so for example, if you look at Manjunath's, he cannot see. Manjunath, can you open the invitation that Mr. Jordan has sent in an incognito window, please?
Nishan, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, Manjunath, I can see, but can you open the invitation also on the same screen where you are opening it and showing it to me?
Share my screen completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope you see my screen now.
Yes, I can see you. This is good. Yeah, okay. Click on that. But before that, you have logged into the right email ID, no?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, now go to the portal.azure.com to show me if you got any subscriptions over there. Your email ID is correct, no? manjuna.c.m@outlook. Yeah, excellent. Click on the Reva University on the top and show me the switch directory. Okay, you have the Reva University. Now our team should be able to do something from here. Yeah, okay. Can I assume that everyone see something like this, Reva University? If you don't have it, then let me know. Okay, I'm assuming that you have at this moment.
I don't have, so can I share my screen for a moment?
Yeah, please. Those who have activated Reva University, good. Wait for Mr. Jordan to see what is working, what is not working.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
What are the invitation I sent? I put it in the chat. Who all provided Outlook ID. I put it in the chat. I sent already the invitation to them.
Okay, good. So can you accept the invitation?
Yeah, I have accepted this, sir, and then
let's wait. Now start the free account. Guys, so just observe his screen, Venkateshwara's screen. So he should be able to do that activation in now. Whatever the phone number it is. So also please tell people how did you reach to this screen? From which screen did you reach? Just tell to people so it's easy. No, don't give spaces because you don't know whether it will accept or not.
By default. It's taking by default.
Okay, good. Then you can just text it or call, whatever it is comfortable. So there you will see Azure for Students activation. Okay, you should click on that.
Yeah, I tried this method, so it created a default directory for me.
Yes, it will create. If you go ahead and create an Azure default, then it will create a default directory with $200 credit. So I'll give you 5 minutes quickly. I'll help everyone to complete this. Yeah. Venkateshwara, once you complete this, automatically account will be activated. Okay, good. Yeah, let's go for Marimutu. Marimutu, can you share your screen? Excellent. Now go back to the previous window. Perfect. Now what you do, click on that Microsoft Azure logo. Yeah, explore Azure student benefits or let's see, explore student benefits. Click on that explore. Okay, just go ahead and activate claim your Azure credit now. $100 credit. Yeah, click on start free. Perfect. Yeah. I think by now you should everyone should have the problem solved if you follow this procedure. Okay.
No, once I verified the code, then it is asking me to enter the student verification.
So what is student verification means? Okay, let me see here also in Marimutu's screen.
Yeah.
So when it says student verification, what is that?
It is asking me to enter the school email address.
Yeah, Reva University address you enter.
But this email ID is different than the official. That's fine, right?
That should not be a problem. Reva University enter if you enter, because it will only validate whether you are the student of that university or not.
That domain, okay.
Verify the code. Just verify. Hey, why is school email address? You have a verification code method also, no? Yeah. Okay, verification code method is that again he has to give. Just enter the student's email address otherwise. Yeah.
Verification code method is again I have to enter. Okay.
Yeah. Just enter your Reva email address here. So, okay, verification email has sent, just verify it. You go to the top, you could have seen a notification. Just read the notification that is there on the top. Yeah. So now what you do, you open the same Reva University email here. You open in the same window, you open the Reva University email. So you'll get a notification, right?
It's all okay.
Outlook. See, one thing also you can do, you can open an incognito in a different window and copy paste the link here. But look at the email ID. This is not that.
No, it should be outlook.office.com.
So it is asking me to enter the organization PAN ID and then things like that. So this is.
Is it?
Yeah. When I click on the verification from email to confirm my student identity.
Mr. Jordan, you want to intervene here? See whether it will. What is it exactly?
Can I share, sir?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, what we'll do? Okay, guys, just
Sir,
a second.
sir,
I'll continue the class.
SOP.
Offline, can you guys do it? Because otherwise we'll be missing out a lot of
Yes,
calls.
sir. Yes,
So,
no problem.
Nishant, I have sent an SOPs to all with that
Okay.
email ID. I have sent an SOP also. Even the SOP is present in LMS.
Okay.
So people can go through it and they can activate it. And I have sent it to you also personally, the SOPs.
Okay, fine. So what we'll do, guys, I'll complete the lab first. I'll complete the lab and I'll give you anyway break for lunch. And then I'll also give you time to correct this. In sense, do the lab. So on an average, you'll get 2 hours time to fix everything and complete the lab. Okay. So first, let me complete the lab so that the participants who are interested, they can get things done for them. Okay. We don't want to waste their time also. We have to ensure that their time is respected.
Makes sense.
Okay, we'll do that. Just observe my screen. Thank you, Marimuthu, for the support. We'll fix it. Don't worry. Venkateshwara, thank you. So guys, now there are two things. There are two ways of doing the labs. I'll give you the lab guide. You can just follow the lab guide and you are done. Okay, can you go to the link I'm going to share now? Just go there and see this is your lab guide. Okay, the labs that we are going to do. As we progress, the number of labs will automatically increase. I'll enable all the labs, but at this moment I have enabled 3 labs only. Okay, we will go. So each lab will have a lab scenario of what we are going to do. In which region I'm going to do the lab. Please. This is my 6th or 7th batch I'm delivering. In all batches, I have seen one common thing that they don't read instructions. But you have to read instructions when you are doing the lab. Okay. So I'm going to be very clear on where you should do what. We are using East US region, so you have to do everything in East US region. If you have any issues, then only we have to change the region. Otherwise, we have to continue in the same region. And then how to create a virtual network for each activity that you are going to do. There is a step. I'm going to do all these steps, follow everything and complete the lab. Is it clear? See, here I have given student email ID as small letters. You have to use small letters. Here I have given you capital letter. So you have to use capital letter. So just ensure that you are choosing things properly. OK, this is the lab guide that you guys are going to follow for this lab. So in this lab, as I said, first activity is to create a network. First activity is to create a network. Let's do that. So just observe my screen. That's good enough. Just observe the screen. That is good enough. First activity for me is to create a very simple network. First thing is to create a very simple network with one subnet. How many subnets are there in our lab? One subnet. One network and one subnet. So let me go to VNets. See, one is the easiest way is to search here VNet. Virtual network, or you can also go here onto the left side. You will see virtual networks. See, in case if it is collapsed due to any reason, you can uncollapse it and then go to the virtual networks. You can search also here, no problem. You can search for VNet, virtual networks. Let us go ahead and create a very simple virtual network. So click on create a virtual network, and guys, no need to do a follow along. First observe. Where am I clicking? What options I am selecting? And then I'll give you time to do the lab. So click on create a virtual network. So it's asking you what subscription would you like to choose? Now in my case, I have Azure for Student subscription, MSDN subscription, pay as you go subscription. I have 3 subscriptions. So what I will do, I know that in my MSDN subscription, I have money. I know that. How do you know? You see here notification you will get. In which account, how much money is there, you will get to know. If you don't get a notification, then go to the check balance, Microsoft Azure Pass balance, Microsoft Azure Pass balance. Go to the first link and then you can check your balance from here. Anything is fine. Anything is absolutely fine. So in case, see, Azure's Pass sponsorship, I have 0. Pass sponsorship 0, students 0, 0, but I have another sponsorship which has $100 credit. OK, that means I'm good to start.
While starting this lab, if we have a default directory and then Reva University directory, we have to switch to Reva University. And
absolutely. Wherever you have the money into switch, you have to switch into that directory and do it. Otherwise, you will not see the exact subscription.
Okay.
See, for example, I switch it to Nishant Consultant because I know that there are money there. And then only I'm doing this stuff. So always switch to the right directory and switch to the right subscription and then you do the lab.
Okay.
So in my subscription, I have MSDN subscription. So I need to create a very simple resource group. What is a resource group? A resource group is a logical way of organizing your resources. For example, I have 10 servers. I want to group all of them into one. I have one web server, one database server, one firewall. I want to group all of them into one resources. Like for a project, I want to group all the resources. You can create a very simple resource group. Here, click on create new, and in the lab guide itself, I could have given you what should be the resource group name. Yeah, try to follow the same naming convention, so it's easy. So in this resource group, I want to create a very simple network. My virtual network. I want to create my virtual network. But see, when you copy paste, there is an extra white space that will come. When you copy paste, sometimes extra white spaces will come. Ensure that you remove the white spaces. You see, you will get an error if there is white spaces. Remove the white spaces and then you see the region. As per me, I have to do all the lab exercises in East US region. We have to do all exercises in East US region. Until and unless if there is an error in East US region, please raise the hands. Let me know so I am aware of what in which region you are doing it. Good. So now in this network, what is the IP addressing? Can I assume that all of you know what is IP addressing and all, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In case if you don't know what is an IP address, do let me know. So in this network, I am going to create a network called as 10.0.0.0/16. Now, is it a class A IP address, class B IP address, or class C IP address?
A.
Are you sure A?
IP address is A, but netmask is B.
Yeah, it's a classless internet.
Classless IP address.
Yeah, CIDR notation.
CIDR.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Class A IP address, but class B subnet. Good. So I'm creating a very simple subnet range. And then in that subnet, I'm going to, sorry, in this network, I'm going to create another subnet called as default subnet, which is 10.0.0/24. Now, what are we doing here? We are taking a default network. If you want, I can add more. See, if you want, I can add more. I can name it as Nishant subnet. I can choose my own range 10, 1, 0, 0, or 10. It's 16, no? So 10, 0, 100.0/24. See, I can choose my own network range. And if you want a NAT gateway, and if you want any service endpoints to be enabled, but at this moment, no, I can click on something like add. So I can create n number of subnets while I am creating the virtual network. At this moment, I don't need this, so I'm deleting it. Because our lab doesn't have many subnets. Very simple, one subnet. Make sense? Clear? Easy to create a simple network.
Yeah.
OK, don't worry about security. Don't worry about security. Don't worry about tags. Don't worry about the other options. But I have to explain you and I'll do that now. See, when you do review and create, no, it will first check whether whatever you are going to do, is it operational or not? One common thing that I have observed across many trainings is people think this error and people ignore this error. People also look at this and feel that the server is created or the network is created. No, this is just a validation pass. OK, now in this network, I'm also showing you Bastion host. What is a Bastion host? Jump server. You all know jump servers, no? For example, if you want to access a network, what will you do? You will access the one computer in that network, and from there you will SSH or RDP into other machines. That's called as a jump server. So would you like to enable Bastion host? No. Do you want to enable DDoS protection at this security for this network? Observe, if I enable, it is asking you on which resource you want to enable the DDoS protection plan. Do you want to enable firewall? If yes, what is the firewall name and what is the public IP address of the firewall and to which network space the public IP address should be private IP address should be connected. At this moment, we are not going to enable anything. We will create a very simple subnet where we'll create a very simple virtual network without anything. OK. Without any tags, I'm going to create a virtual network. It will revalidate once again based on the configuration changes, and we'll click on create. Click on create. A simple network is getting deployed. So a simple network, this line, the thick line that you see is getting created. In which resource group? AZ500 Lab 7 resource group. That's your first exercise, task number 1. Your second exercise. In the exercise number 1, task number 2 is to create application security groups. So till now you're done. Till task 1, point number 7, you are done. Now task 2, point number 1. So while this is running in the background, I will search for application security groups. I'll search for application security groups. You see application security groups. Now, let's go ahead and create a very simple application security group. Now, this application security group should be created where? In the same subscription that you have chosen before. In the same MSDN subscription. In the same resource group. In the same resource group. For each lab, I am going to create a different resource group. And after doing the lab, you will delete the entire resource group just to save the cost. Just to save the cost and avoid the unnecessary incurring of charges. Okay. Now, what is the application security group name? I will call it as my web servers. My web servers application group or my ASG web servers, and it should be created in which region? East US region. So click on tags. Next, no tags. We don't give any tags. Click on review and create. A very simple application security group is going to be created. So I have created two ASGs. First, I have to create one ASG web server. See, this web server ASG we have created. And then we will create management server ASG. At this moment, yeah, observe, I am not writing any rules. I'm creating resources. That's it. Yeah. OK, go to the resource. See, application security group is created. Does the application security group has any logs, access control, tags, properties? Nothing. We did not enable anything. We will come back to this. We'll come back to all of this. So again, I'll go to ASG. Search for ASG. I'll create a different ASG. Same in the same Azure subscription, in the same resource group. And this time I'm going to name it as my ASG for management servers. For management servers. Now I have two security groups. Two application security groups. Why I have two application security groups? Because I have two servers. I have two servers. One server where I'm going to run my web application and another server I'm going to access the server. I'm going to access this server. OK, from my computer, I will do an RDP into the management server. And from my computer, I will do an HTTP access to the web server. OK, management server is protected by RDP. That means we will enable RDP port and then we will enable HTTPS port on application security groups. And then we are only created. Now, if you see, we did not link them. I will give you a very simple example in cloud. In cloud, you know buffet, right? You all know Barbecue Nation and all, right? When you go to Barbecue Nation, you can choose any food that you like from the menu. They're open, right? You can do any combination that you like. If there is live kitchen, you can ask any combination, he will make it and give it to you. This is very similar, Azure. Everything has to be created individually and then you have to integrate them together. You have to integrate them together like a Lego. Our kids play Lego, no? This one. Lego playground. There are multiple pieces. You join all the pieces together to create a network. So at this moment, we are just creating simply resources. We are not managing them or integrating them. So we have created a very simple application security group. This task is done. Now exercise 1, task number 3 is to create network security group. Let's go ahead and search for NSG. NSG. Create a network security group. Where should I create this security group? In the same subscription, in the same resource group for this lab, and my subscription, my name, my NSG name is going to be my NSG name is my NSG. my NSG. Good. So we have created a security group. Now, did we link all of them together? No. We just created application security groups. We just created network security groups. What are their properties? We never touched it. We never touched their properties. Clear? Now we are going to integrate them together. Step by step, we will integrate. So at this moment, ASG is separate, NSG is separate, virtual network is separate, virtual network and subnet are connected. So you remember NSGs are like your building security. So that means they will protect your subnets. NSGs will help you to protect your subnets. Clear? NSGs protect what? Subnets, okay? They are like your building security guards. Guys, don't mind if I'm giving you that previous example of building, because that if you understand that example, I think networking in Azure is very easy. So I'll go to my NSG. Sri Krishna cannot hear. How about other people? Can you guys hear?
We can hear.
You're audible.
Sir, you're audible.
Yeah, able to hear, able to hear.
Thank you. Sri Krishna, just check once. Excellent. Now, if you look at the overview of the NSG, if you have seen ASG, where you see in the ASG, did you see anything? Any rules and something like that? No. ASGs were very simple. Application security groups are very simple. Yeah. I'll show you ASG. Yeah? If you go to ASG, do you see anything? Any rules? Any configuration? Nothing, no? But if you come to NSG, go to the overview window, you will see inbound security rules and outbound security rules. Now observe, the rule starts from 100. The rule starts from 100 and ends at 65500. So this many rules are possible in one NSG, inbound and outbound. Now look at it. Name is allow VNet inbound. Any port, any protocol, but from virtual network to virtual network. Any virtual network to any virtual network, please allow. Then, if there is an Azure load balancer enabled, by default, Azure load balancer traffic can be sent to the virtual network. So any virtual network is allowed and load balancer is allowed. Similarly, outbound traffic from any virtual network to any virtual network and outbound traffic to internet is allowed. Remaining everything is denied by default. Is it clear? Do you understand the default NSG rules? If I apply this NSG, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Nishan. So I was asking those 65,000, is that the ID starts with? Is it editable?
No,
Or?
ID starts with 100. ID starts with 100 and totally you have 65500 totally rules. Why 100? Why they have not given 1, 2, 3, 4? Because they are used for Azure purpose. Okay. So I'll just show you. No worries, we will write rules also. So this is where the rule ends, and these are the default rules. So any rule that you write, the number should be less than 6500. Sorry, 65,000. So you can write any rule name from 100 to 64999. 64999. Any name you can give. Any of the rule ID you can give. Now this rule ID is executed in the order it is given. Rule number 100 is executed first, then 101 is executed, then 102, 103, 104, 105. Now you as an engineer should be smart. Whenever you are writing the rules, you should never write 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. You know what you should do as a smart firewall engineer? You should write like this. You know why? Oh, there may be yeah, tomorrow there may be some addition rule that may come. How will you insert it? So maximum 10 is okay, good. But some people will go for like this also, 150 directly. Some people will go 200. So 50 rules may come in the middle. Tomorrow you may have to get some rules. You can add it. Because order plays a very, very important role. And the problem here is you cannot reorder just like that. So good. Now we have a security group. Now tell me to which networks this is associated. Is it associated with any subnet?
No.
No. So look at the network interfaces. Is it associated with any system? No. It's a very simple security group, but not enforced. Not enforced. So what I will do, I'll go to the subnets and attach it to which virtual network? We just created one network, no? My virtual network. And in that virtual network, to which subnet I should put default and click OK. So now my NSG. Now my NSG is attached to this subnet. Now my NSG is attached to the default gateway or the default network. Is this clear? Now tell me, to this network, who should be allowed? Who should be allowed? Traffic called as AT. HTTP traffic should be allowed, no?
Yeah.
HTTPS traffic should be allowed, no? And RDP should be allowed, no? HTTP works on port number 80, HTTPS works on port number 443, and RDP works on 3389. 3389. So for this firewall rule, let's assume. For this firewall rule, let us assume. I will write a very inbound rule, okay? I'll go to add inbound security rule and let me start adding a rule. So what I will say, what is the source? Look at the diagram and tell me what is the source.
Internet.
Sorry?
Either your IP address or any.
Internet.
Internet, right? So that means any source.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, good. If it is any source, what is the destination? Source port. Obviously, you cannot decide a client port in this section. So we are leaving it. Next. What service I should allow?
HTTP, HTTPS, and RDP.
Yes, good. So what I can do here, I can create something called as custom and start writing 80,443 like this. 80,443 I can write. In one rule, I can write ranges. How I can write? I can give a comma separated value. I can give a range. Both of them will work. Like 80 to 443 also I can give, 80, 443 also I can give, or 80, 1024 to 65535 also I can give. So I'm writing a custom rule. Now tell me if 80 and 443 works on which protocol and port number?
HTTP and TCP.
Yeah, HTTP and HTTPS. They work on which port? Sorry, which protocol? My bad. TCP. Correct? Yes. Now tell me, do I need to allow or deny? Already there is a default deny rule. So I have to allow. Now what is the priority? As I said, you can start writing at 100 because 100 is what it starts, or you can write something like 120 also. Maybe you may have to write little more options before, or you can start with 150 also. No problem. Above 100 it should be. So I'm going with 100 for this lab. And what is the name? Allow all. Allow web application all. Any name is fine. OK. Remove white spaces if you have anything. Allow traffic from everywhere so that end users can access my website. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now here destination, we selected source, but what is the destination in this case?
Subnet, my VM.
My VM, right?
Yeah.
Now tell me, if I give VM tomorrow, so I'll just give a simple example. If I give any, right? No, it should be IP address. Now, can I write the IP address of this server? 10.0.0.4 here.
Subnet.
That is one method. One method of writing a firewall rule. What is the second method of writing a firewall rule? Tags. That means you can give a tag to your system and based on the tags it will work. Or you can select an application security group. Which method is good? Any method is good. If you are very confident on the IP address of the system, you can give IP address or subnet. If you are very confident on the tags, you can be confident. But we should also think about cloud. In cloud, we always know that in cloud, automatically the number of systems can increase, right? If the load is increasing. Auto scaling, right?
Yeah.
Why do we use cloud? For auto scaling. That means you expect that there is one server, and if the load on the server increases, automatically the number also will increase, no? If you put IP address level filtering, what happens if you get a new server? Will the traffic pass?
No.
No. What you can do, you can put a subnet, but giving a subnet is a broad access, no?
Yeah.
Giving a subnet means you're giving access to 254 IP addresses. Correct? So what is the other way? The other way is to logically group them into one. And say the traffic is only allowed to this security group. So any new system comes up, I'll put it in this ASG. Now what happens? I can confine my rule to only certain place. Rather than giving a heavy blast radius, I'm giving a less blast radius. Even an attack happens only on that VMs, the attack will happen. Making sense? On how do you protect your system here with the options? And here we are not using Azure Firewall. We are using Azure Basic Security. Basic security is what we are using. Azure Firewall is different. Azure Basic Security is different. Yeah, this is at a network security group level. So let me go ahead and select application security group. Now, where is my application security group? Tell me which application security group I should allow. Web server or management server?
Web server.
Why?
Because management is for managing the device, not for user access.
So correct. So management is 3389 port number. Web server is 80N443. So now, for example, at this moment, if I send a traffic, will it go to any server? No, there is no server we have created. No. Did we attach the server to the application security group? No. So this firewall rule will only be effective once we create the server. And the beauty here is you can select multiple ASGs at the same time. So that's a benefit. Clear?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to add the configuration. So we are telling that, hey, NSG, ensure that the traffic comes from everywhere from the internet, but on only 443 and 80 and reach only to my application web servers. My web servers only I should be able to reach. This is one group. Let's go ahead and write another rule. The traffic can come from anywhere. The traffic can come from anywhere, from any source, but to my management servers. That too on port number 3389. So RDP port. Do you have an RDP port here?
Yeah, it's there in the beginning. Just on top.
Yeah. RDP. RDP works on which protocol?
TCP.
TCP. But why is it not showing TCP here? Because by default you selected RDP, no? It knows. By default, when you select RDP, it knows that RDP works on 3389. If you select only custom, then it will ask you. But because RDP is a service, we select it TCP allow. What is the priority? 110. See, even Azure is smart. It has never given 111. It could have given 111, no, or 101, no. It has never given. So it is giving gap of 10 rules by default. I'm allow all traffic from internet to my management server on port. Good. Now we have enabled the.
Sir, usually
security.
in the organization, like, do we maintain multiple jump servers or only one?
Oh, they maintain multiple jump servers based on the network. Typically, you will maintain every network one jump server. Because
every
you don't
network
want,
in the sense every subnet, or
up to you. Up to you. If you are comfortable at a subnet level, you can put it. If you are comfortable, you can put it at a VNet level.
Okay.
Because it depends upon how mission critical your application is and what type of access control you have.
Okay.
Yeah. Now at this moment, I have created 2 rules. Okay, everything is good, but the main important thing is servers, no? I don't even have servers. Let's bring some servers. Let's bring up some servers. So let's go ahead and create a very quickly 2 servers. 2 servers. So how do I create the server? Very simple. Go here. Search for virtual machines. Create a virtual machine. Here, create a virtual machine. Under which group? MSDN group. Under which resource group? AZ500 lab. What is the virtual machine name? My web server. And in which region? East US region. What is the availability zone? Take default availability zone. Yeah, go with the zone 1, doesn't matter. Security type, go with the standard security type. Go with standard security type, but your VM is going to be Windows Server 2022 Data Center Edition. You are going to select Windows Server 2022 Data Center Edition, Azure Edition, Generation 2. Please observe, be very cautious in the documentation. The documentation very clearly tells choose image Windows Server 2022 Data Center Azure Edition Generation 2. Now, due to any reason, if you cannot find the East US region, due to any reason, if you cannot find this, don't worry, I'll show you here. See, if you cannot see that, you can click on See All Images. You can click See All Images, and then you can select the data center version from here. See, under the Windows, you can select it. Clear? This one is right. This one I should choose, no? Windows Server 2022 Data Center, Azure Edition Generation 2. And what is the server configuration? Standard D2S V3, 2 CPUs and 8 GB RAM. That will cost you $5,000, sorry, 5,000 rupees per month if you run 24/7. But anyway, after the lab, we are going to stop the server. So you will not be costed much. And if you don't find the size, here, no worries. You can click on See All Sizes and search for D2S size, which will give you 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM. Clear? Now you know if you cannot find where to go and search.
Yep.
Now what is the username? Username is student. Password is P capital ASSWORD@123. Give simple passwords. Don't make it complex. You are not creating any production grade machines here. And don't use your personal passwords here. After 1 hour, you will delete it. For the kind of servers which you are going to delete 1 hour, why do you want to choose a different password? Yeah. Now it is asking you inbound port rules. If you select allow selected ports 389. Now tell me, look at it. This is what? Is this a firewall? If this is a firewall, what is NSG?
This is for a NIC level, I guess.
Yeah, this is at a NIC level. but we don't want to control. See, if you write this no, if you select this no, you may not get chance to, write many opportunities. So what I'm doing, I'm saying no inbound ports. No inbound ports at this moment. OK, no inbound ports at this moment, and click on disks. Just go for everything normal. Don't fiddle with it. Click on next, networking. Now this is more important. This is more important. Now tell me, where is your network? This is your network, no? And this is your default subnet, no? In this default subnet, you are going to put it. And do you want a public IP address? Yes, obviously, no. If I'm exposing my server to internet, everyone on the internet should be able to access my system. Guys, I'm actually in the mid of the flow. I'm sorry, I have to take half an hour more of your time and then I'll give a break so that I can complete the end-to-end lab and then you can take a break and then come back. OK, sorry for that.
Sure, no worries.
Now you have a public IP address. Good. Obviously, no, you want to expose your system to internet, no? So you need a public IP for it. Then NIC security group. Do you want no security group, basic or advanced? Select none at this moment. And do you want to delete the public IP and NIC when the VM is deleted?
Yes.
Absolutely, because every public IP comes with a cost. Huh? Every public IP comes with a cost, so you have to delete them. That's OK. After doing this entire, you will create the entire resource group only, you will delete, no? So all this doesn't matter.
Sir, I mean, is this public IP separately billable? I mean,
yeah. Each and every public IP address is separately costed.
Or it is
not a part of VM.
Or it is billable only if you are not using it.
No, the moment you get the moment a VM is, the moment a public IP is allocated, you will be charged.
Okay.
Because public IP is freezed for you, no? You're not using it and all. So it will be charged for you because it's allocated.
I mean, in AWS, like for example, we have two different mechanisms, right? Like Elastic IP.
Elastic IP, correct. If you case there also, Elastic IP is charged. Whether you use it or not, Elastic IP, you will be charged $1 per month. But here, same. It's the same actually. There also it is charged. Here also it is charged. But one thing I'll tell you, don't assume that anything is free. Everything has a cost. Sometimes hidden cost, sometimes explicit cost. OK, now, do you want any load balancer in front of your server? No, at this moment, nothing. Click next. Enable with manager storage account recommended. That's fine. Boot diagnostics. You can just go with next. See, auto shutdown behavior is also there. No need to fiddle with it. Click next, advanced. And just click rewind create. While this happens, I'll create another server. This takes time, no? I'll create another server in the meanwhile. What is the other server?
Management server.
Yeah, management server. So MSDN subscription, this lab, my VM management, same configuration, nothing different. Huh? Oh, network. No. VM. Where is virtual machine? Yeah. Azure virtual machine. So this is validation passed. While this creates in the background, I'll go ahead and use another server. I'll quickly create another server in the background. This one, this is East US. So this time I'll be a little fast because you already know what I'm doing. Correct? Don't forget, try to don't give any different names. Huh? Try to use the lab guide so it makes easy. Life easy. And don't copy paste passwords. White spaces may come. Manually type it. None. Next, disk is nothing. Network, blah, blah, blah. No security group. That's fine. You can go for next. You can go for next, advanced, review and create. Now we have two servers. One server, which is named as web server. The other server, which is named as management server. Now both of them has public IP addresses, right?
Yeah.
So that means both of them should be available from the internet as of now. But is it available from the internet? Let us see. Let the server come up and we will see whether they are accessible from the internet or not. Yeah, while this spins up, it may take 2 to 3 minutes. I will take some questions here.
So usually we'll not keep these management server and then web server on the same subnet, right? In the real time.
In the real world, correct. Because this is the first lab, I'm doing it in the same subnet. Ideally, you will keep management in separate subnet, web server in subnet, and then you will write the rules between the subnets using NSGs. But because if I do that, it will be confusing, more confusing for the first time users. So I thought, we'll do it in a
And
same
Nishant,
way.
The billing of this VM, the moment we create these VMs, will that start charging or should that pass 24 hours?
No. For example, for Linux machines, for every second it is charged. For Windows machines, for every 1 hour it is charged. When I say every 1 hour, for example, 1 hour, 1 minute you consume, 1 hour, 59 minutes you consume, same price.
If we restart, then it'll take it as a second hour in the same time, or is it?
No, restart doesn't matter from the time you create the service.
Yeah, that's what the question is for example, if we create a machine and then we have used it for one minute and then we rebooted and then restarted again, then will it be counted as a second hour or it'll be?
Doesn't matter, no. It is still running, no. The resources are allocated, right? Your operating system rebooted, but resources are not deleted. See, IP address is allocated, RAM is allocated, CPU is allocated. Your operating system is rebooting. That's it. There is a difference between stop and reboot. In stop, your resources are disallocated, like RAM and CPU. So you will not be charged when you stop it. But when you restart it, it doesn't matter. It is like running. It is continuously running.
Okay, so let's say if we stop it in 2 times in 1 minute, then it will be counted as 2 hours of billing.
Yes, correct. That's why people choose only Linux.
Okay.
When you choose Linux, no, for every second you will be charged. For example, for 15 seconds, your server was down. When I say down, stopped, not restarted. Okay, if it is stopped only for 15 seconds, they will charge you.
Okay.
So that is the benefit of having a Linux machine. But in Windows, either you take Azure or even GCP or here, they are charged on an hourly basis.
Nishant,
Anyway,
again, I'm just curious, when we look into AWS, the free account which generally holds for 1 year free subscription where you can create VMs, we can just play around. It's not the same case where we have the free account.
Here also you got $100 credit, no? You don't have a free tier, huh? Here. You don't have a free tier that, okay, this is free for 1 year like that. No, that's why they give you $100 credit. See, in AWS, they will not give you credits. Have you seen AWS giving you credit to play? No. Where if you say in AWS, they will not give you credit, but they will give you free services. So you are restricted to use only free service. But here they will give you $100. Whether with that $100 you will create a 50 GB VM or 1 GB VM is up to you. If you create 50 GB VM, $100 are done in 1 day. If you create 1 GB VM, stop it. So it is left to you. How ideally, like how good you want to work on it. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and say connect. See, I'm connecting to my management VM. So tell me if I'm trying to connect, will it work? I'm downloading the RDP file. On desktop, I'll create a folder called as Azure. And then
You might have to add inbound rules.
Okay, let's see. Let me try it out. So can I connect it?
Was the ASG linked?
No, not yet.
Okay.
See, it's trying to connect. You cannot connect it to. See, it's telling remote desktop cannot be connected. It can be remote access to the server is not enabled. Remote computer is turned off, or the remote computer is not available on the network. OK, so if you go to the networking section of it, do you see any rule allowing it? Yeah, there is an inbound rule which is allowing it. But did we attach our system to the ASG? No. We have never attached our system to the ASG. So if you go to the ASG, now we can attach. Now we can go ahead and choose the ASG here. So click on configure the application security group. And which security group? Management security group. And save it. Now it is linked. Now my VM is linked to application security group. So from now, if I go ahead and try to access, it should work. So download it, no, Control J. Yep. So it's trying to connect. So tell me, why is it not connecting? Or is it a delay? Was there any issue? Second. See, it's still saying I cannot connect. I just enabled the ASG, no? OK, let's do this also. I enabled ASG. Maybe I'm assuming that it may take 1 minute. I'll go to my web. I'll go to networking section of my web. I'll go ahead and go to application security groups and enable it. Web servers and save it. I'm giving 1 minute time just to ensure that the rules are reflected. OK, now this is a web VM. I'll download the web VM RDP file also. So if you see, I have downloaded web VM RDP file and management RDP file. I'll try to connect to the management RDP file again. Why can't I connect to management RDP file? Tell me. Let's see. Oh, now it worked. See, it took time. It took 1 or 2 minutes for the rule to reflect. So student password @123. Yeah, I'm waiting for the RDP to connect. I'm waiting for the RDP console. Where is it? I'm trying to connect. What was the username? Student, no? Password was PAWW. Sorry. Yeah. See, it's trying to connect now to the remote session. Now I got access to the system. I got access to the system. So what is this server? Management server, no? Management server. See, my VM management server. Now, did I download the web server also? Let me do RDP into the web server. Can I do RDP into the web server?
No.
Why?
Because you have not given RDP
Inbound
access.
rule is not having.
Yes, I don't have an inbound rule. See, if you go to my web, if you go to networking, do I have an inbound rule? No, I don't have an inbound rule for my management service. I hope it is clear on how do you control network and how do you create network security groups and all. But Nishant, how do I test? How do I test this is working fine or not? See, I cannot do RDP, no? If I cannot do RDP, how will I install server? How will I configure server?
You have to connect to management server.
I have to connect to management server. Via the management server, I have to connect to the web server, correct? Is it clear now? From here, I connect to the management server. From management server, I will connect to the web server. Make sense? This is one way. Or AWS will give, sorry, Azure will give you an option. If you go to my web, if you scroll down, Okay, there is a run command. No, anything that you run here, will get directly executed in the server. Anything that you run will get executed in the server. So I'm going to run a command. Run a PowerShell script command. We are going to run a PowerShell script on the server without even logging in. So this PowerShell script is going to start the IIS. You know IIS, no?
Yes, sir.
Application server. So we are going to start the application server. So it will take 2 to 3 minutes for the application server to install. So while this runs in the background, let it show me something else. So I say script execution in progress. It's not showing me any output. That's fine. We can close this. After clicking hit, you can just, close it. And then if you come back, what was the web server IP? This one. I'll put it here. It should be running now, no? If IIS is installed, I should be able to access it on port number 40. Sorry, on the IP address 40 IP address, I should be able to access. So I'll give 2 to 3 minutes because IIS installation and boot up will take 2 to 3 minutes on an average, or 1 minute, depends upon the server. But we have to wait.
So can we, at least can we control the run command access as well? Because we don't know whether the authorized user has this access to install anything.
That's why now, see, you asked a very good question, Venkateshwara. You remember I was telling you this first 4 files are for administrator, for these are the operations. Now you should control who should have access to this console. Who should have access to this console, you can control it. Once he has this access to this console, he can run it. You can also disable run commands, that no one is going to run any command. That also you can disable it. So they should only be able to log in and then run. So I'm waiting for the web server to come up. OK, see, web server is not coming up. How will you troubleshoot? Whether the server is coming up or not, you don't know, right? You have executed a command on the server. Whether it is coming up or not, how do you know? You don't know. So what I will do, I will first jump to the management server. From here, I will log into the management server. From the management server, I will go to the web server. OK.
So don't we get any logs from the command that they run? Is there any possibility?
Ideally, it should give you the logs, but not always. It may not give you always the log. See, we cannot expect.
So when we jump from the management server to the web server, will it again go through the path of NSG and ASG, or will it directly have
No,
the
they
same
are a part of the same subnet, no? Because they are a part of the same subnet, no NSG will come into the picture. Because NSG is from a different subnet to access, not in between the subnets. Within the subnet, it will not work out.
So it is not NIC specific, it is the subnet specific.
Obviously, that's what I said. It's a building. NSG is at a building level, no? Once you get into the building, you go to first floor or second floor, it doesn't matter.
But it was showing it as NIC, right? Network interface card.
Where?
While we're creating.
OK, let me show you that also. OK, I'll just open a new window so that it's easy for you. I'll create one more NSG just for you to observe. That's what I was telling you. There are 2 options in NSG. Whether you want to enable it at a subnet level or a NIC level. I'll show you. Don't worry.
OK.
NSG. If you go to NSG, see, it's asking you, do you want to enable at an interface level or do you want to enable at a subnet level? I enabled at a subnet level. You remember I was telling you having a security guard for each floor, having a security guard in front of each apartment, or having a security guard for the entire building. Now so here, what did I do? At a building level.
So this is just a policy which we are creating, whether we can associate with an interface, network interface card, or with the subnets itself.
Up to you. Up to you.
And ASGs will not also, even ASGs will not come into picture. Inter-ASG communication, I mean, that will not be a problem anymore because
no.
Same subnet. OK.
It's a logical grouping of the other resources. So that's why if you configure ASG and NSG at an interface level, it's a conflict. Rather, you configure subnets. At subnet level, you configure NSG, and at a grouping of resources, you configure the ASGs. And this is even this concept I don't like because this is a confusing for many new big Bs. Ideally, for example, if you go for AWS and all, they have very simple concept. Security group. That's it. It doesn't matter. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. At this moment, let's not confuse other people. Let me see the web server is up and running. Yes, see, my web server is up and running now. OK, I'll also show you one more. Now I'll log into my management server. From my management server, how should I log in? How will I log into the web
RDP?
server? RDP. OK, what is the IP address of the server?
10.10.10.
You should use private IP address, not public IP address. Okay. Because public IP address, if you pull, what will happen?
Yeah,
if you use public IP address, it will follow the same traffic, which will not work. Yeah. So you have to use private IP address 10.0.0.4. But let me check whether it is correct or not. If I go to my web server, if I go to overview section, you will see the private IP 10.0.0.4. Correct. So I'll log in here, do 10.0.0.4. And then I'm waiting for the pop-up. Yeah, student and username is password @123. Password. Yes. Now you see I'm in which system? Understand? Huh? I'm inside the system, inside one more RDP. Yeah? RDP into VM management, and from there I have done an RDP into 10.0.0.4. I hope it is clear, no? See, this is one VM. In that I have from one VM to another VM I have RDP'd. So I'm waiting for this to come, but I'll make it big so it's easy for me to play.
Is there any specific mechanism to control the access across the VMs in the same subnet?
You put ASGs. You put ASGs or NSG itself you can put. If you put NSG, what will happen? Interface to interface you can control. Okay. But is that a good idea?
No.
Why? So that means it is like this. You want to put a control in between each port of your switch. Is it a good idea to put control set in between each port of a switch? For example, if you have a 48 port switch, how many rules you will write? 48 rules you will write. Or more than that only, right? What if you have a 128 port switch, or if you have a cluster of switches? Will you be able to maintain the port configuration between them? Yeah. Ideally, you can do it. Technically, you can do it. But is it feasible from a management point of view, network management point of view, configuration point of view? It's a headache.
If that is the case, I mean, if that is a requirement, then it is best to move it to different subnet than control.
That's it. That's it. If similar systems, you put it in each subnets, put control at a subnet level. Yeah. See, now IIS is there. See, IIS is enabled on the server. On my web VM, IIS is enabled. And once you are done with this lab, what you have to do is once we are done with this lab, you have to go to resource group section and delete the entire resource group after completing the lab, not now. OK. Now I have 5 more minutes. You can ask me your questions. I will answer all your questions. Then we will go for a break. Come back from the break. The moment you come back from the break, you will start working on this lab. Now, this is first lab, very basic lab. In the second lab, OK, throughout this, did you see application level filtering? Did I have a single chance to put HTTP? That means web page like mstn.com I want to block, google.com I want to block. Do I have a feature here? For example, from the management server, I want to browse google.com. Is it possible?
Yes.
But how will I block it? How will I block star.msn.com?
Application security group, you have to create an outbound.
But outbound rule doesn't allow. Outbound rule only allows you IP addresses. Do you know the IP address of Google? IP address of the Google will change every minute.
We can use FQDN also, right? Or
but FQDN options are not available, no? For example, I'll go and show you. So show me. You're telling ASG or NSG? ASG, you cannot write a rule. Huh? ASG is like a grouping.
Okay.
Where you can write a rule is only NSG. So if I go to NSG, if I go to add, if I say source is any, destination is port. I'm only having port. Where is the fully qualified domain name? Tell me.
Yeah, we don't have. Maybe
you don't have it.
It's possible in firewall, but not.
Maybe web categories.
URL filter.
See, I don't have URLs. I cannot write anything.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the next concept is going to come. That's called as Azure Firewall, where I'm going to teach you how to write Azure Firewall rules. You will have a jump server and then you will block an IP address to Reva University and enable access with fully qualified domain name or star.reva.edu.in, or you can say reva.edu.in/contact.php. Only that level layer 7 filtering we can write. But that will be in the lab number 2 that we are going to do in the afternoon section. So now what we are going to do, please understand. You will next 3 minutes, I'll answer your questions. After that, you will take a break. After coming back from the break, you will start working on the NSG and ASG lab. Clear?
Yes, Nishan. So can't we have a downloaded copy of these servers what we have created? Is there any possibility of it?
This one?
The whole servers. I mean, the simple network we have created, right? Yeah. Can we have those downloaded somewhere?
Can we take
you want configuration of it?
Yes, the whole configuration.
Yeah, you see here JSON view.
Okay.
You have the resource configuration, but the problem is this is not the right method. This is not the right method of deploying it. You know what you have to do? There is a concept called as infrastructure as a code. You see, export the template. You can export it, no problem.
Okay.
Export the template, you can export it, but this is not the right method. The right method of doing it is rather than creating the server manually and downloading the configuration. What you can do is you can write the configuration in the form of infrastructure as a code using Terraform, Pulumi, and then apply it. Like in the form of templates, you can write and then apply it. So exactly whatever you have written in the template, it will be applied onto the VM. That I'm going to show you in the next lab.
Okay.
Where I'll show you ARM templates. So there are multiple infrastructure as a code. It's called as infrastructure as a code, and ARM templates are there. Like EC2 Cloud Formation is there. Pulumi is there. Terraform is there to do this job stuff. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And please don't forget to delete the lab after creating. I'll just show you a sample one. Select like this. Click on delete resource group. Enter the resource group name and click on delete. Khalas. Everything will get deleted after the lab. No charges. OK. Yeah, I'll keep the platform open for you to go back. Come back from the lunch.
Can you help me to resolve this subscription problem I'm still facing?
Yeah, Venkateshwar, I think I should. OK, give me a few minutes. I have to talk to Mr. Jordan, and then I have to see what is like where the challenge came so that I can address it.
Okay, I can see that my 200. I mean, my $100 credit is active, but I can't see the subscription. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what. Now what I have to say is I have to identify the subscription ID. Okay. What you can do, guys, other people can go for a break. I will help. I will sit with Venkateshwar and then troubleshoot it. At the moment you come back, you complete the NSG and ASG lab. And one more thing, Nishant, I'm already comfortable with all the concepts. I want to do all the labs and leave for the day. Please feel free to do that. I don't mind. OK.
Okay.
Yeah. Venkateshwara.
Yeah,
Can share your
my
screen.